Major League Baseball. And welcome to the Big A, Anaheim Stadium, where this afternoon on CBS, it's the New York Yankees. They're sizzling against the California Angels. And we have a splendid Sunday in Southern California. Temperatures in the high 70s and hardly a breeze for today's game. Well, look at the New York Yankees right now. They are a half a game behind Detroit. They're in third place, and the Tigers are losing, so the Yankees could conceivably be in second behind strong Toronto at the end of this day. And a great story indeed for the New York Yankees, who finished last a year ago. Hello again, everyone. I'm Dick Stockton, and it's truly been a trip to Disneyland down in Anaheim here for the Yankees, and they may have to revise what their hopes would be. They wanted to be a 500 team. Well, Don Mattingly says maybe we can win a division title, and who knows? Who says they can't? And my partner, Jim Cott, of all the good things that the New York Yankees have accomplished this year in an astounding turnaround, what would you put at the top of the list?
No question, it's been the way the pitching staff has come together. Collectively, their bullpen's the most effective in the American League, and they have 3 rookie starters that in the last few weeks, the Yankees are 5-6 games over 500. When they pitch, we'll see one of them today.
California Angels had a good story. They were in first place not so long ago, but look at them now in really the tightest race of all 4 in baseball. They are in 4th, 5th place right now, 5 games behind. They have dropped 7 straight games and have scored only 1 run in their last 41 innings. Why have the Angels' bats gone silent, Jim?
Well, you could say, is it good pitching or bad hitting? In the Angels' case, they walk less than any other team in the American League. What's hurting them right now, Gary Gaetti and Dave Parker. They walk very seldom, and they're striking out a lot. They're not disciplined hitters, chase a lot of pitchers' pitches. That's why they're not driving in the big run. But their pitching will keep them in this race till the end.
Well, a pitching matchup today really exemplifies what these teams are all about. Wade Taylor, a rookie, going today. Chuck Finley, one of the great starters for the Angels. And we'll be back with the starting lineups for today's game in just a moment. Back at Anaheim Stadium, where over 30,000 fans are expected, the Angels have been drawing very well in recent years. And let's take a look at the Yankees batting order today against Chuck Finley. Steve Sax will lead off. He'll be at second base. Randy Velarde makes his 2nd straight start at shortstop. Don Mattingly hitting 3rd at first base. Mel Hall batting cleanup in right field. Matt Noakes behind the plate hitting 5th. Kevin Moss will be the designated hitter in the 6th slot. Hensley Mullins in left field, followed by rookie Bernie Williams, the switch hitting center fielder hitting 8th, and Pat Kelly, another rookie, batting 9th and playing 3rd base.
And in the field for the Angels, trying to sweep this series in left field, Luis Polonia will play left. And in center field, it'll be Max Venable, the left-hand hitter in the lineup today. Veteran Dave Winfield, what a year he's having over in right field. On the infield, Gary Gaetti will play 3rd. And Dick Schofield, they've shored up that Angel infield. He's at shortstop. Second base today, rookie Bobby Rose. And at first base, Wally Joyner. And doing the catching, giving Lance Parrish the day off, Ron Tingley. And he'll catch Chuck Finley. 6'6", 28 years old, and has been the ace of this staff. But actually this year, Abbott and Langston have pitched a little better. But Finley with the chance to become the first 13-game winner in the American League with that outstanding forkball.
And Tom Glavine for the Braves trying to do the same in the National League today. And Chuck Finley won 18 games last year, nearly won 20, and here's what his motion's all about.
Yeah, Joe Coleman, who is now with the Cardinals, taught him that forkball, and that 6'6" frame coming down at hitters with a good fastball, and then the forkball to go along with the slurve is what's made Chuck Finley one of the better left-handers in baseball. A little bit off this year, not quite as dominant as he was last season.
You know, that shot we saw of the windup is a camera that's provided by the Angels. Their coaches take a look at that one. It's really a great view right behind home plate in the screen. And that's the view we saw Chuck Finley in his warm-up. So Steve Sax will lead off for the Yankees. He's hitting .290. He leads the club in doubles. Sax, who got off to a slow start the last month, has been hitting effectively and pulling the ball a lot more.
Starting to turn on it. Evidence of that, you know, his lifetime mark against Roger Clemens is like 500, so you know he can hit a fastball.
First pitch from Finley, down low, ball 1. The umpire's working today. Dan Morrison behind the plate. Tim Welke is at first base. Dale Scott at second, and the crew chief Jim Evans is over at third. Fastball, 1 ball, 1 strike to Steve Sax. The Yankees have a problem. Sachs is playing second base. That's where Pat Kelly should be and will be playing. Sachs has a big contract, and they haven't been that many takers thus far. If any, went around on the breaking pitch, and they called a strike.
Exactly what Chuck Finley's pitching pattern is. Get ahead with the fastball, and he has two choices. He has the big curve or the forkball. Guys can't lay off that pitch.
On the outside corner. Fastball, strike 3, and Sachs goes down. That was the 107th strikeout of the year for Finley.
And a good indication for the Angels, because that 91-mile-an-hour heater knee high on the outside corner, and control has been a bit of a problem for Chuck Finley this year, more so than last.
Here's Randy Velarde. He's playing shortstop today. Utility infielder, batting 200 on the season. Fastball, a bit high, ball 1. That's Buck Showalter, the third base coach for the Yankees, and a familiar name over at first base from the recent Yankee good past, Greg Nettles. Good fastball, foul tipped into the mid of Ron Tingley.
Puff, as they call him. Greg Nettles.
Pitch is down low. 2 balls and 1 strike to Randy Velarde. Alvaro Espinoza, the regular Yankee shortstop, out still with a hamstring pull, missing his 4th game. And the Yankees becoming a little bit concerned because Espinoza has been really wielding the bat better than he had in recent years.
Yeah, he had problems in the field early in the year. He has 14 errors. They called up young Carlos Rodriguez to give them a little better shortstop play, but Espinoza would be their best bet when healthy.
Fouled off into the Yankee dugout. Count is full 3-2, and our look at Stump Merrill, who took over last season in the middle of the season for the Yankees. And like Doug Rader with the Angels, a lot of people thought that their jobs may be on the line, but they have survived, and especially with Merrill, will continue to be in that.
Well, things a little more stable there in the Bronx this year.
Foul out of play, and the count remains 3-2. Here's the Rooster.
The Rooster, Doug Rader. And, you know, as a player, he was such a high-intensity guy. And as a manager, sometimes you think he's almost too cool. He's taking this 7-game losing streak like no big deal. We'll start to hit.
The 3-2. Just missed outside, and Velarde draws a walk. So the Yankees with a base runner.
Well, the same pitch that Sachs was called out on, except this, Dan Morrison says, is just off the outside corner and not on it.
Well, you talk about the Yankees and their young pitching, some of the young players, but the man who has really set the tone for this club has been Don Mattingly, who has come back, and you can see hitting 300 once again from those back miseries that really affected him in recent seasons. Mattingly lines it down the right field line, and it's hooking foul, and just foul by about 6 feet.
Probably see some swings like that on first pitches by the Yankee left-hand hitters, because if you're going to handle Chuck Finley as a left-hander, you better hit that first fastball you see, because once he gets ahead, that forkball and curveball are much more difficult to hit.
And because Mattingly feels a lot better with his back problems, he's more comfortable at the plate.
And he's having fun because of the way this team is playing. You know, the pitchers are doing a good job not spending so much time out there in the field agonizing over the losing record like he was in past years.
Strike 1 pitch to Mattingly, and here's a line drive hit into center field. Venable retrieves, and holding at second base is Randy Velarde. So the Yankees are staging an uprising here in the first inning as Mattingly singled, runners at first and second.
And a typical Mattingly hit. When the ball is not inside where he can pull it, he has the ability to slash it the other way. This is a big inning for the Angels and Chuck Finley, because his last half dozen starts have not been the Chuck Finley of 1990.
He lost that game to Nolan Ryan right before the All-Star break, when Ryan had a no-hitter going into the 8th inning. Here's Mel Hall. has been platooned in the past, but not anymore. He has been effective against lefties and righties alike. Breaking ball gets away from Tingley, and the runners looking to advance, and they do. Velarde into third, Mattingly into second, and that will be a wild pitch charged to Chuck Finley.
Well, as a catcher, Ron Tingley has one responsibility: try to block the ball. You can't catch this pitch. You try to block it and keep it in front of you. And he did the best he could on that one, but by the time it rolled away, both Yankee base runners able to advance.
That changes the complexion here with one out. Runners in scoring position. First base is open. Matt Nokes is on deck. And there's a base hit. Throw to center field. They're going to wave in Mattingly. Here comes the throw to the plate. It's not cut off, and Mattingly has to go back to third. But it's an RBI single for Mel Hall, and his 47th run batted into the year. And the Yankees lead 1-0.
In case you wonder why the Yankees would start Mel Hall against a left-hand pitcher, the highest batting average in the American League against left-hand pitchers by a lefty. He's up with that hit now over 350. Buck Showalter, I think, gave Mattingly here a verbal sign. He was not in position to hold him up on that strong throw, but he hollered at Mattingly enough that Donnie retreated and got back to third base.
Still one out. Runners at the corners. The Yankees already with a run in, and here is Matt Nokes. Third on the club with 45 runs batted in. And look at the confidence that Stump Merrill has in the Yankee left-handed hitters. Mattingly, Hall, Nokes, and Moss all batting in a row against left-hander Chuck Finley. And a half-swing ground ball. It's a foul ball, says third base umpire Jim Evans. Just went foul before Gary Gaetti picked it up. And they say it's a fair ball.
I think the signal here by third base umpire Jim Evans, waiting for the fair ball signal from the home plate umpire, merely called Mattingly safe at third base. And Dan Morrison, the home plate umpire, made the call on the ground ball.
So it'll go as a put out, and moving to second is Hall. Mattingly, of course, remains at third. Evans gave the safe sign, but the home plate umpire, Dan Morrison, signaled fair. So there are 2 out, runners now at second and third. Kevin Moss, the batter, and a breaking ball away, 1-0.
Just a quick note on umpire's responsibility. The home plate umpire will call that ball until it gets past the bag, and then it's the responsibility of the base umpire.
Fastball down the middle for a strike. Moss is the designated hitter today for the Yankees. On at third, Mattingly, Mel Hall on at second. The Yankees with a run in. Moss has had his problems at the plate, even though his production numbers don't show it. He has not been effective with runners in scoring position. A lot of people think he has to make an adjustment this time around.
Maybe try to get a little more aggressive at the plate. You saw that graphic. Not many left-handers take Finley deep. Moss is one of them.
2 balls and a strike. 3-1. Finley wanted that pitch.
Yeah, until Moss and Rafael Palmeiro of Texas took Finley deep this year, you had to go back a few years to George Brett. So he has been very tough on lefties as far as keeping the ball in the ballpark.
3 balls and 1 strike. Full count. Pitch is fouled at the plate. The Yankees have won 13 of their last 16 games. It's been 2 years since they've been over the 500 mark, other than early season play. A year ago at the All-Star break, they were 20 games under and buried in last place.
They are the most improved team in the major leagues in terms of more wins. They've got 11 more wins this year than they had last year. The Dodgers have improved almost that much.
Runners at second and third. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Strikes out on a fastball. So Finley gets 2 strikeouts, but the Yankees get a run in the top of the first inning. Angels coming to bat. Yankees looking to sweep the Angels on the road here in Anaheim, leading 1-0, and now the California Angels Facing Wade Taylor in the batting order, Luis Polonia. Leading off in left field, rookie Bobby Rose hitting second. Wally Joyner, one of the top hitters in the American League, followed by the veteran Dave Winfield. Dave Parker, the designated hitter, batting fifth. Gary Gaetti, the sixth hitter. Max Venable, followed by another rookie, Ron Tingley.
Hello!
And Dick Schofield hitting ninth at shortstop.
And in the field for the Yankees, this is an area where the Yankees, of course, they've improved their pitching staff and everyone knew they could score runs. But in the field is where you'd like to see the Yankees play a little bit better. Hensley Mullins will be in left today, and Bernie Williams, the rookie, in center. And over in right field, Mel Hall. On the infield, and here's where some of the trouble spots come up. Pat Kelly is at third, Randy Velarde at short. Steve Sachs is the second baseman. No problems at first. Don Mattingly there. And behind the plate, the veteran Matt Noakes, and he'll catch right-hander Wade Taylor. A four-pitch pitcher with a live fastball. He'll use the slider a great deal, a decent change, and if he gets a hit, he has got what the players would call a hammer, an overhand curveball.
Taylor, with 4 wins, has the most victories of any of the 3 rookie pitchers that the Yankees have, but has maybe been the least effective overall. Luis Polonia leading off for the Angels. Former Yankee. He's got good speed. Takes pitch outside, ball 1. Two balls and no strikes to Polonia. Bobby Knopp, the third base coach, he's helped the Angels infield tremendously, and Bruce Hines is over at first. And Taylor quickly falls behind Polonia, the leadoff batter, 3-0.
See how they play Polonia. Hensley Mullins is almost playing him like a right-handed pull hitter, very close to the line.
Walks him on 4 pitches. So Polonia on at first. He leads the Angels with 27 stolen bases. Been one of the sore points in recent years for California. They really haven't had a good leadoff batter, and he's been the best in recent years.
He's really a legitimate batting title candidate, Polonia, with his speed. If he was a little more disciplined at the plate as he was in that at bat.
Here's rookie Bobby Rose, native of West Covina, California. Been up 27 times. Starting today at second base, takes ball 1 inside.
Pitching in the major leagues now for rookie pitchers is so much on-the-job training. About another pitch, you'll see Mark Connor trot out to talk to Wade Taylor. They're trying to get him to trust his stuff a little more. Challenge hitters.
Go to first, a wild throw, and Polonia gets back. He's going deep into the count to the dislike of Mark Connor.
Yeah, when you're playing the way the Yankees are and pitching that well, boy, you want to see a guy get on the mound and just run it right down their throat and make them beat you.
1-0 pitch. There goes Polonia. The throw to second base. Safe. Sachs was covering. And Luis Polonia has his first stolen base since June the 22nd.
Good pitch to handle for Noakes, but with Polonia's speed and the big jump, no chance to get Polonia at second. Catcher would like the ball right up there, and Matt Noakes unloads it quickly. The throw a little high, but it was Polonia's big jump off Taylor that enabled him to see that.
28th stolen base of the season. Mark Connor out to the mound, the Yankee pitching coach.
He probably has as live an arm. You know, the Yankee rookies are not kids. I mean, Kamenecki's 27, Taylor's 25, Johnson will be 25 shortly, but they are rookies. And Taylor probably has the best assortment of stuff, but he's a little shy about throwing it in the strike zone.
So stolen bases against him have been rare. Here's the 2-0 pitch. And now it's 3-0 to Bobby Rose. There they are, the 3 pitchers, and you can say they're not very young, but pretty impressive. And Kamenecki really pitched well the other night, and Johnson got the victory last evening. Looking for the strike, 3-1.
Kamenecki in every game that he has started has given the Yankees a winning effort. He's gone at least 6 innings and held the opposition to 3 runs or less. Taylor's been about 50-50.
And there goes Polonia trying to steal third, and he's in there. And it's ball 4 to Rose. So now the Angels, trailing 1-0, have something going here in the first.
See Polonia get that walking lead. Taylor never checks him. He's more intent on throwing the ball in the strike zone. And another easy stolen base by Luis Polonia. And this is not a good sign for Stump Merrill and the Yankees, because the Angels are a hard team to walk. I mean, they swing the bat, and here they have back-to-back walks.
Runners at first and third in the heart of the order coming up for California. Wally Joyner, Dave Winfield, and Dave Parker. Polonia with 2 stolen bases here in the first inning. Here's Joyner, who is 8th in the league in hitting, batting .317, 11 homers and 57 runs batted in. Fastball on the corner for a strike. Last night, Joyner collected his 100th hit of the season.
He and Winfield have been the hitting leaders that have carried this team. Parker and Gaetti potentially can do that, but they've been inconsistent.
And here's a ball driven down the right field line, foul. Of course, Joyner was a home run hitter a couple of years ago, and that probably did him more harm than good, and he's changed his style.
Yeah, did a lot of guys harm. That was 1987, back in that era with the year of the juiced-up baseball, many feel. Brooke Jacoby would be an example for Cleveland. Hit over 30 home runs. He is more of an alley hitter. He's not what you think of as a power hitter.
No balls and 2 strikes. Runners at first and third, and a throw over to first. Yankees have received airtight pitching since the All-Star break, starting off with Scott Sanderson's 1-hitter on Thursday. They've allowed 1 run in 3 games. There's the breaking ball, quick throw to third base, and Polonia did not have much of a lead, gets back.
See, here's the guy the Angels want. We were talking about their lack of discipline at the plate. This is the guy you want at the plate in a run-scoring situation, because he has the ability to lay off those close pitcher's pitches and eventually get one that he can handle.
He has had his problems with runners in scoring position the last 6 games. Diving back, and they've got him. Balk is called. They call the balk, and Bobby Rose will trot down to second base.
Tim Welke, the first base umpire, right on the call, and there's no question. You have to step and then throw. You cannot, what the players would say, use the spin move. You cannot step and throw at the same time.
And Polonia scores as a result of the balk as well to tie the game.
See the little bit of a shoulder flinch right there, and that's what the first base umpire and third base umpire watch for.
Still nobody out. Luis Polonia scoring from third. Joyner swings and misses on the breaking ball for the first out. 1-1 the score. And kind of an odd bottom of the first inning for the Angels.
Well, the way Wade Taylor can be successful. I mean, look at the break on that overhand curveball. That is why the players call it a hammer. You do not get Wally Joyner to swing at a pitch like that very often.
Dave Winfield leading the Angels in homers and runs batted in. One out, runner is at second base. 1-1 the score. Angels scoring without the benefit of a base hit. Strike 1. Four away from 400 career home runs.
He would be the 23rd to reach that level.
Look down the third base line. Pat Kelly, the third baseman. Here's the 0-1 pitch, breaking ball, and it's popped up behind the plate. Noakes lost track of it at first, but it's on the screen. 2 strikes now to Winfield. This is where the Angels have had their problems hitting. You can see that 1 through 6 in the heart of the order down at only 227.
Yeah, you'd like to maneuver those slots around and put the 290 in the middle and maybe the 258 at the top. The heart of their order has not been productive.
Winfield is 3 for his last 31. He's off the breaking ball. Good stop by Noakes. 1-2.
And the visit by Mark Connor pays off temporarily for Wade Taylor, because against Joyner and now Winfield, he is getting ahead in the count. Then he'll get him to chase that curveball.
You were a pitcher who you like to work quickly. Sometimes Taylor works too quick.
Gets to rushing his motion.
Something off the breaking ball, misses inside, and it's 2-2. This is Taylor's 8th game and 8th start of the season. On deck is Dave Parker. 1 out. Runner at second. Run in. Ground ball. Hit to Velarde at shortstop. Throw to first for the 2nd out, and going to third base is Bobby Rose.
Again, 2 strikes. Hitters will chase your pitches. Winfield has to reach for that. And Velarde, with Rose passing in front of him, makes the toss to Mattingly in plenty of time.
Well, Dave Parker has not delivered for the Angels. Had a terrific season with the Brewers last season. Struck out the most of any California hitter. 7 homers and 34 RBIs as he takes a called strike. Two down. Bobby Rose at third. Curve is in for strike 2. 0-2.
Well, the right-hand pitcher the Angels wish they could depend on this year, Bert Blyleven. He's sitting on their bench, and that's kind of a curveball like the Dutch Master. That's a 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock, right over the top.
And a ball and 2 strikes to Parker.
And that's unusual nowadays. More pitchers, they call it a slider, but it's really a slurve. It's half slider, half curve. You don't see as many pitchers with that big over the top Uncle Charlie.
Fouled into the stands. Still 1-2 to Dave Parker. The Yankees scoring in their half of the first inning, and the Angels tying it up without a base hit. A couple of walks, 2 stolen bases by Luis Polonia, and a balk charged to rookie pitcher Wade Taylor. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Lays off the breaking ball. They appealed to Jim Evans, the third base umpire, but it'll go as a ball. And the count is even at 2-2.
Most of the time when you see the guys that check their swings in time, they are the big, strong guys with strong hands and arms. That's the only way you can keep that bat back.
And missing outside. So 2 tough pitches that Parker lays off, and the count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Parker mentioned how Winfield has struggled lately. Parker has only 1 hit in his last 21 times to the plate. Here's the 3-2. Another foul into the second deck off to the left.
Interesting contrast between Parker and Mattingly. Mattingly was in a slump earlier in the year. He held the bat high and tried to hit down on the ball. Parker says, I'm going to start trying to lift the ball. Hitting singles isn't getting it for me. I'm going to try to go deep.
Again, the 3-2. Again, foul off to the left. The Angels, as we mentioned, have lost 7 in a row. That's their longest losing streak of the season. What has been particularly damaging to them, Jim, is the fact that they are under 500 at home. They're 21-22, and the only other team in the major leagues that has a winning record but a losing record at home are the Atlanta Braves. Parker stays alive by fouling it off, that time on a big swing.
He is one of those guys, as a former batting champion and one of the great hitters in this game over the past couple of decades, that has a good 2-strike approach. He does just enough to stay alive until he hopes to get the hitter's pitch.
And another foul ball. So Parker and the Angels making Wade Taylor work here in the bottom of the first inning. The next delivery by Taylor will be his 30th pitch of this opening inning.
You can see by Noak's signal the fastball toward the outside corner. They've done that 4 times in a row. Let's see if they come back now and change their pattern.
Rose with the lead at third, and the pitch outside, ball 4. So the third walk issued by Wade Taylor Angels with runners at first and third and 2 away. Rose is at third, Parker at first, and that will bring up Gary Gaetti, the Angels' third baseman. He's batting .256 with 8 homers and 34 runs batted in. Time is called as Matt Noakes is looking into the dugout.
You see the signals that he's giving. In case Parker would take off for second base, Noakes wants everyone to know where he's going to throw the ball. Is he going to throw it to second, back to the mound, or maybe fake and try to throw it to Pat Kelly at third?
Down low, ball 1. So this has been kind of an unusual first inning for Taylor. They've been able to run on him, and now he has walked 3 batters in 1 inning. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Fouled off. Gaetti, of course, came over from the Minnesota Twins as a free agent, and the Twins have gotten great success from Chili Davis, a free agent who has really helped the Minnesota.
And the way he's helped him is Chili is a very disciplined hitter in run-scoring situations. Gaetti has only walked 9 times this year, and that's why he's not as good a hitter in these situations as he was 5 or 6 years ago.
They play him to pull in the outfield. Left fielder Mullins is deep. Curveball, big swing, back to the mound. Taylor will make the throw to first to retire the side. The Angels tie it up with no base hits, and we're 1-1 after 1 inning.
We feel like we're in a pennant race, to tell you the truth. And if we got guys talking about we're not in one, tell me who they are. I want to talk to them myself. But we feel like we're in a race over here. We feel like we're a good club, and you know, people are talking about 500. We've got to 500, but I don't plan on stopping there. I know I got a lot of guys talking the same way. We feel like we're in a race.
And you know they are, and he sets the pace of this club with his attitude, and the youngsters have no fear. They have been with winners in AAA and AA.
Because Mattingly has no fear. He is the perfect player to be that spirited leader and try to convince these guys. Yeah, we're 8 back, and Toronto is the best ball club over there, but play like we're in a pennant race, and they are.
Hensley Mullins leading off, hitting 7th in the Yankee order today.
Got him. Come on, son. Come on. You do your thing.
First pitch is in for a strike.
Come on, kid. Anytime you're ready. Anytime you're ready.
Mullins, Bernie Williams, and Pat Kelly. Bottom third of the order. Fastball is in for a strike. No balls and 2 strikes to Mullins. There is the rookie Bernie Williams on deck. Mullins' problem, he hasn't had much of a chance to play because Mel Hall has done such a great job. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Trying to get him enough at bats to feel comfortable on the major league level.
Word is that Mullins next season could possibly be tried as a third baseman. He has been there before, and right now would be a little unsettled to move there after being an outfielder. He's the DH sometimes. He's a left fielder today, and the pitch is taken for a ball, and it's a full count, 3-2.
You know, an early indication, just to digress for a minute from Mullins, of this game and how a home plate umpire can affect it. Dan Morrison behind the plate today, very much of a hitter's zone.
Line drive, base hit through the hole in left field. Hensley Mullins with the 3rd Yankee hit, leading off here in the 2nd inning.
Already in the 1st inning plus in this game, a lot of 3-2 counts. Anytime the pitcher goes to 3 balls, favors the hitters. Mullins knows he's going to get a good fastball to hit, takes advantage of it.
Here's switch hitting Bernie Williams. Hitting .250 since he came up. Roberto Kelly on the disabled list. They hope that the Yankee regular center fielder gets back at the end of this West Coast trip. Chuck Finley with a 12-4 record. Already allowed 3 hits. Starts off with a breaking ball in strike 1.
Frank Howard's voice in the background offering encouragement.
Come on, Bernie.
The Yankee hitting instructor from the dugout. The lead by Mullins. Check swing off a high fastball, and the count 0-2 now to Bernie Williams.
Same way he had Mullins. Finley was not able to polish Mullins off. And that's hard to do because he's not a disciplined hitter at the plate, or hasn't been up till this point in his career.
Look at big Frank Howard. Looks much bigger than the 6'7" that he's always listed as.
He had swing the bat before the game today in the Upper Deck Heroes game.
In an old timers game, as you saw in our pregame show. And strike 3, and Bernie Williams takes a call, third strike. Well, what's going on with the New York Mets? They came in today with a 10-game winning streak. Let's check in with Pat O'Brien in our New York studios. Pat?
All right, Dick, out at Shea, Ron Darling on the mound. The Padres' Fred McGriff at bat. Let's talk long ball, folks. 396 and counting over and out of the ballpark. The Mets scored on an error, so San Diego's Greg Harris has a no-hitter in the 7th. And by the way, Dick, Cincinnati now leads 3-2 in the 6th. Let's go back out to the 8th.
All right, Pat, thank you very much. Here is Pat Kelly. Fouls it off for strike 1. Wild game at Shea Stadium where the Mets are trying to win their 11th in a row and pick up a game on the Pirates, who trail.
14.
Pretty tough when you have a winning streak like that and still can't get to first place.
1 strike to Pat Kelly. Interesting story with Pat as he takes a ball 1-1. Brought up from AAA, and everyone you talk to around the Yankees say that he's the genuine article. Destined to be the regular second baseman, hitting .241. Runner at first is Hensley Mullins with 1 out in a 1-1 game here in the top of the 2nd inning. 2-1 now to Kelly.
Ideally, the Yankees have the bullpen depth to do it. They could do some dealing and get a hitter, more of a power hitter, as Buck Showalter flashes the signs. You'd want more of a power hitter at third base. Kelly's really an ideal second baseman, both the way he plays in the field and his hitting ability.
And Hensley goes, and the pitch is hit in the air down the right field line. Drifting foul, and it is foul. Winfield with a long run gives the fans a souvenir.
Yeah, and Winfield is having a great year, but from the time that Dave has played Major League Baseball, he has played a very deep right field, and that's what prevents him from catching balls like that. With Pat Kelly in the batter's box, if you're playing right field, you've got to play a lot closer to the infield than he did on that play. Now it looks like he's moved in a couple steps, but he has traditionally played very, very deep in the opposite field, but his athletic ability enables him to still get to a lot of balls.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Pat Kelly. You talk about making a deal so that Kelly could play second base, and of course Steve Sachs is the big obstacle there. He's the on-deck hitter for the Yankees. And there's a line drive snared by Gaetti to throw to first base. Safe. So Mullins gets back, but Kelly hit it hard right at Gary Gaetti for out number 2.
Well, not a sensational play, but an indication of Gaetti's reflexes. And when the Angels signed Gaetti, yes, they wanted run production, but they got a Gold Glover at third base. And infield play has been a big problem for them the last couple years. They're leading the American League this year in fielding.
They made the fewest errors, only 45. Last year they finished with over 140. So a big change in the Angels defense. Time is called. Steve Sachs, who struck out his first time up. Angels say they're interested in him, and it's possible that if California remains in the race as we get into August, even with his big contract, they may make a move. And the pitch hits him on the left arm. Wow. 90-mile-an-hour pitch.
That had some smoke to it. One thing that Finley has not done as effectively is pitch inside as effectively as he did last year. And a couple of pitches today, you could see him come in. Look at Tingley's target. And Finley comes in just a little farther inside. Those Sachs had those arms. Look at the arms. They move out almost over the plate. It looked like it caught him right on the back of the bicep, upper arm.
Here it is in normal speed. This is what it looked like and sounded like.
And that sounded like it got wood. Gene Monahan, actually Steve Donahue is Gene Monahan's assistant, out to administer to Sachs right now. the ball glanced away. If the ball hits and sinks right at home plate, you say, uh-oh. You know, that was much more of a damaging blow, but the ball caromed off and went, I think, into the Yankee dugout. Doesn't mean to Steve Sax that it hurts any less.
There's that swelling on the left elbow, and pretty good lump there. Stump Merrill heads back to the dugout, you know, talking about Sax and the fact that the Angels might be interested in him. You know, this would be a bad time for the Yankees to make any kind of a move. Sax has been hitting lately, and as long as the Yankees have things going, even though they would like to move Sax and switch Kelly to second base, this is not a good time.
Yeah, when the ship is sailing along, you don't want to make a lot of changes at this point.
Here's Randy Velarde. He walked and scored the Yankee run in the first inning. 2 outs, runners at first and second. Strike one. Chuck Finley is allowed 1 run on 3 hits. He's walked a batter and has hit a batter. Here's the line score. We're in the top of the second inning at Anaheim Stadium. Way behind that fastball. Strike 2. At also 90 miles an hour. Finley second in earned run average last year to Roger Clemens in the American League, and second in ERA the year before to Brett Saberhagen of Kansas City. Pretty consistent pitching.
Yeah, he was behind Clemens and Eric Hansen of Seattle, the 3rd best all-around pitcher in the American League last year.
1 and 2.
When you take all categories, and we talk about his problems this year. You like to have problems with a guy that's 12 and 4, but he's just not been the dominant pitcher that he was in 1990.
Runners at first and second, 2 out. Up high, 2 and 2. What does it mean for Finley, Jim, to have a rookie, Ron Tingley, who has played sparingly behind the plate?
I think now the way managers platoon teams, and you know, day game after night game, pitchers get comfortable in spring training or down in the bullpen and start, so they feel comfortable with anybody behind the plate. Obviously, Tingley not in Lance Parrish's class.
In the dirt, the pitch gets away, and the runners are going to advance. Hensley Mullins rounds third, and he's going to come in. Let's see if they send him back to third. If the ball went into the dugout, Mullins would score, but he's going to go back to third base, and Sax will go back to second as the ball did not get into the dugout. Otherwise, a run would have scored. It'll be charged a wild pitch, and the second wild pitch by Finley.
Again, not like Chuck Finley to get ahead of hitters and then make pitches this far out of the strike zone. And right there, Tingley just catches up with that ball near the Angels dugout.
Great save by Tingley. So runners at second and third. The count is full, 3 and 2. And Velarde hits a pop foul, and that'll go out of play. So in 2 innings, Chuck Finley has thrown as many wild pitches as he had coming into this game in 116 innings of work.
Wow. And most of them are on that fork ball or curve ball in the dirt.
Hensley Mullins, the runner at third base, and Steve Sax at second. 1-1 the score here in the second inning. Foul tipped into the glove of Tingley for a strikeout, and that'll do it. The Yankees leave runners in scoring position, and after an inning and a half, we're still 1-1 at the Big A. Back here at Anaheim Stadium, and Steve Sax was hit on the elbow, and he has left the game, and so Pat Kelly has moved from third base over to second base, and Randy Velarde moves from shortstop over to third base, and the new Yankee shortstop is Carlos Rodriguez, who started the other night in the opening game of this 4-game series.
Yeah, he'll be fun to watch if they hit a ground ball to him. Not a very strong arm, and he gets rid of the ball just very quickly.
Rodriguez will be hitting in Sax's position as the #1 spot in the Yankee order. Max Venable leading off in the bottom of the second for the Angels, bluffs a bunt. Goes Mel Hall. It's over his head and off the wall and bounces over the fence. And that'll be a double for Max Venable. He might have had 3, but the Yankees, I believe, caught a break as the ball off the fence deflected off of Mel Hall over the fence for a ground rule double.
Kind of a break right here for the Yankees because Hall, he kind of kicks the ball over the wall right there. He's catching up with it, and it pops up in the air and over the wall. So Venable gets a ground rule double. By the time Hall tracks that ball down, if he doesn't kick it over the fence, Venable could easily have had 3.
And that's the first Angel hit of the game, as Ron Tingley, the rookie catcher, takes strike 1. Tingley has been up only 68 times, has 13 hits. Lance Parrish getting a breather, but available for pinch hitting. 1-1 the score. We're in the bottom of the second inning. 1-1 the count. Venable, for the last pitch, got a good lead off of second. There's Bobby Knopp with the signs at third. Now Kelly trying to keep Venable a little closer. Tingley lines it foul into the crowd. 1-2 now to the catcher.
And that's exactly his responsibility in this at-bat. No bunt sign on, but just to try to hit that ball toward the right side and advance Venable to third with 1 out.
Venable with his lead. Wade Taylor checks him. Breaking ball in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Matt Noakes has improved defensively by leaps and bounds, helped by Mark Hill, the Yankee catcher. Venable with a leadoff double here in the second inning. Tingley again trying to go to right field, fouls it off. Count remains 2-2.
A little bit of a change of pace for the Yankees in the field because Don Mattingly was saying the one encouraging thing is all of their pitchers have been working at a nice pace, throwing strikes. Makes for a little crisper ball game, but Taylor today not doing that.
Again fouled off to the right. Ask for a better day here in Southern California. The sun burns through those clouds normally about 10-11 o'clock, and blue skies all around here in a beautiful stadium. California Angels, one of 5 teams, maybe even 6 if you count Seattle, battling in a very tight American League West race. Tingley stays alive. Minnesota Twins picked up a game last night on their 4 closest pursuers.
Continuing to get that good starting pitching. Jack Morris, no effects of being hit on the foot in that All-Star game. Went better than 8 innings to get the win.
Here's a pickoff attempt. Rodriguez covering, and Venable gets back.
It's time play between Taylor and Rodriguez. You see Rodriguez reach his glove out. That's a sign for Taylor to wheel and throw, but he threw it to the wrong side of the bag. No chance to get Venable.
And there goes the runner, and Tingley fouls it off into the Yankee dugout, and Venable got a good jump there trying to steal third. Kansas City leading Detroit 13-2, and the story there is that if the Yankees can prove successful today, they'll move into second place. And the other scores in the American League, Baltimore fresh from their 4-pitcher no-hit effort against the A's yesterday. 1-1 the score here in Anaheim. 2 balls and 2 strikes with none out. And Taylor strikes out Tingley for out number 1, and that is the second strikeout of the game for Wade Taylor.
A strikeout, but Tingley's probably going to get a few handshakes or words of encouragement in the Angel dugout. That was a great effort to at least try to advance the runner to third base. Didn't get the job done on strike 3, but boy, he had 5 or 6 good pops at fouling the ball off that way.
Look at the National League scores. With 1 out, Dick Schofield, the number 9 hitter, hitting .255 with 17 runs batted in. Wade Taylor bluffs to second. Max Venable with the leadoff double, now with 1 away in the second inning. Dick Stockton and Jim Cott here at Anaheim Stadium, as The Angels are trying to salvage the final game of the 4-game series, and the Yankees have come out strong after the break, winning the first 3 games of this series. Chopper to shortstop, right at Rodriguez. Makes the play in time to get Schofield, and Venable moves to third with 2 down.
Points up the importance of the little things that don't show up in the box score, just advancing runners. If Tingley gets Venable to third and the Yankees bring the infield in, ball's a base hit. But because they didn't advance him, it becomes an easy ground out.
So now it's left into the hands of Luis Polonia, who walked and stole a base. Stole 2 bases, actually, his first time.
That's the way they align the outfielders against Luis Polonia. Swing him way around toward that left field foul line and shallow.
Curveball on the outside corner for a strike. Good change curve. 0-1 the count to Polonia. Leads the major leagues with 22 infield hits. Has to get out of the way of that one. 1-1 the count.
Tingley and Noakes both behind the plate tonight. Today, rather, very active. Nice backhand stop there by Noakes to keep Venable from scoring.
1 ball, 1 strike, 2 out. Venable with the lead at third. 2-1 now. Polonia coming over from the Yankees in a trade that sent Claudell Washington, who only came up 36 times before he was released. So a good deal for the Angels. Ground ball to second baseman Pat Kelly. He makes the play. So the Angels squander a leadoff double, and it's 1-1 as we move to the third. Don Mattingly, Mel Hall, and Matt Noakes, the 3, 4, and 5 hitters, are up for the Yankees in the third inning, and we're very happy to welcome here in our booth. They had an old-timers game. You don't want to call any of these guys old-timers. Harmon Killebrew, one of the greats of all time, and, of course, a former teammate of my partner Jim Cott in Washington, as well as
I'll say it. Boy, they high school All-American quarterback. Remember when
you're one of the few guys that can remember far back.
Remember when they went out to Idaho and Ozzie Blugie came out there, right?
Yeah. Could have used you today, Kitty.
A lot of people
can't throw hard enough for that game.
I ran out of pitches.
Don Mattingly singled his first time up, takes a breaking ball outside, 1-0. Masters of the game. That's a great description for the old timers or seniors, as Mattingly swings and misses. Well, you guys were in a World Series together in '65.
Yeah, we sure were. We should have been at several more, huh, Kitty?
Yeah, I think so. Still the most dramatic home run, I think, in Twins history was the one you hit off Pete Mickelson against the Yankees just for the All-Star. You probably remember every pitch in that.
Well, I do, and that put us 5 games up on the Yankees, and we went on to win the championship in the American League that year.
You had a power-laden team. I mean, when the Yankees had dominated 65, the Yankees really went down the chute, but your lineup was really tough 1 through 8 almost.
Well, Dick, they really felt the Yankees felt that if they won that series, they'd go on to win another championship that year, and it wasn't to be.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Mattingly.
Still think about that last weekend in Boston.
No, Jim Cott had not hurt his elbow, Dick. In 1967 against the Red Sox, we would have been in another World Series. We were leading 1 game up on the Red Sox going in there to Fenway Park with 2 games to play. Jim hurt his elbow. We lost that game in the final game of the season to lose to the Red Sox.
3 balls and 2 strikes to Mattingly, leading off, and he takes ball 4. Well, in the old-timers game, well, guess who hit a home run? Well, Pat O'Brien called him Mr. July, and he was Mr. July today with his home run.
Very fitting for Reggie to hit one here in this ball game in his old ballpark here with the Angels uniform. That put us up on top, 1-0.
Had the fans chanting Reggie in the background, just like things have never changed.
Mel Hall, the batter, he singled and drove in the Yankee run in the first inning. Mattingly with a lead at first base. We're in the third inning, and a fastball misses outside, 1-0. Now, what was it like in Washington? Everyone remembers you from the Twins, but you people played for, as you like to say, the pesky Nats.
That's right, the pesky Nats, Kitty. Well, it was great. We enjoyed playing in those days in Washington. Had kind of a few private games there at that ballpark, but it was great.
And they'd say, what time's the game start? And we'd say, what time could you be here?
That's it. You got it.
Bring us up to date. What are you doing now?
Well, I've been broadcasting up until the last couple of years, Dick. And last year I had some health problems, and I'm okay now. I'm back on my feet and doing a few of these games for the Upper Deck Company. And it's been kind of fun.
Well, you look terrific. What's probably the fun, looking back on the great career you had in Minnesota, then closed it out in Kansas City. I can think of so many moments like the Mickelson home run. What stands out in your mind?
Oh, Kitty, I guess it was all of our dreams of playing the World Series, and playing in the World Series in '65 certainly had to be a highlight. It didn't look like I was going to play that year. I dislocated my elbow, and I'm playing first base in August. But I think you'd agree playing in the World Series has to be a big highlight in anybody's career.
I can still see Jim Gilliam making that play behind third base.
2 balls and a strike to Mel Hall. Time is called. What did you guys think when you were up 2-0 after beating Koufax and Drysdale?
We thought we were going to sweep the series. At least in my mind, I thought we had a good chance of doing that because we were going to pitch, or they were going to pitch Osteen in the third ball game. We thought surely we'll beat Osteen. We beat Drysdale and Koufax.
3 balls and a strike to Mel Hall. Chuck Finley with a 12-4 record. Trying to become the first pitcher in the American League to win 13 games. Here's the 3-1 to Hall, and it's hit hard up the middle for a base hit. Mattingly will stop at second, so Hall is 2 for 2. And runners are at first and second with nobody out as the Yankees are staging another threat in the third inning. Well, it's good, I know, for you to see Harmon Killebrew again.
Good seeing you.
Jim, always good to see you. Thank you. And Dick, thank you
to see you.
Having me on here. It's good to be with you guys.
Harmon Killebrew, one of the great gentlemen and all-time home run hitters in baseball, who participated in the Hall Old Timers game. I say Hall of Fame.
Heroes of the game, Dick.
Heroes of the game. Here is Matt Noakes. Mattingly is at second. Hall is at first with nobody out and an opportunity for the Yankees here. Takes low for ball 1. Noakes bounced out his first time up. 4 hits for the Yankees. They've managed only 1 run. Threatening here. Outfield. Round to the right on Noakes. Winfield is playing in the pull. Pitch is low again. 2 balls and no strikes.
Marcel Latchman, the Angel pitching coach, will trot out and talk to Finley. Either Finley is not as sharp, or the point we talked about earlier. The home plate umpire always has a big effect on a ball game, and this is not to say they're not good umpires, but there's a lot of discussion about the strike zone lately, and it is much smaller nowadays than it was, for example, when Harmon Killebrew and I were active. You seldom get a pitch above the belt, and from game to game, each umpire kind of establishes what their own zone is, and today's a rather tight one.
We're at Anaheim Stadium on a beautiful Sunday afternoon. The Angels and the Yankees. Dick Stockton and Jim Cott here. We're at the top of the third inning. 1-1 the score. Noakes fouls it off. 2 balls and a strike. The Yankees moving into third place with their victory last night over California. Their 3rd in a row in this series. Angels trying to put an end to a 7-game losing streak. Don Mattingly with the lead at second base. Mel Hall the runner at first. Nobody out. Here's the 2-1 pitch to Noakes. Low again. 3-1. So Finley getting himself into a big jam here. Kevin Moss is the on-deck hitter. There is Moss. In the air to left center field. Coming on over is Polonia, and he makes the catch. Tagging up is Mattingly. He'll go to third base. Hall remains at first. So Mattingly advances to third, and with 1 out, Polonia with a long run makes the play, and there's 1 out.
Well, we talked about the Upper Deck heroes being here before the game. One of the big changes for the better in the game today is speed in the outfield, and this shows you how important it is. Polonia not only makes a nice running catch, but alertly throws the ball to second base, and that keeps the double play in order for the Angels.
So an opportunity here for Kevin Moss, who struck out his first time up. 35 runs batted in. He's had his problems with runners in scoring position, but he's got an opportunity to cash in here. Which is up high, ball one. Finley is allowed a run on 4 hits. He's walked 2 and struck out 4, but has thrown 2 wild pitches. One and one. Rookie of the Year runner-up last year with a great Yankee Stadium swing.
Perfect. That quick, right up on top of the plate, quick stroke with the ability to pull the ball.
Two and one. Looking at the list, most home runs at the first 500 at-bats, and Moss in pretty good company.
Yeah. Johnny Blanchard was here today.
First 4, actually Jim Spencer was an ex-Yank.
And an ex-Angel.
2 balls and 1 strike. Lays off the breaking ball inside, and it's 3-1 now to Moss. Yankees have a right-handed hitter. Hensley Mullins on deck. Finley 1 pitch away from loading the bases. Still a no-hitter for Greg Harris of the Padres. They're in the 8th inning. San Diego leading 2-1. Foul back, and the count is full now to Kevin Moss.
As we watch Finley wrestle a little bit with his control in the early part of this ball game. The first start after the All-Star break, and he hasn't started in a week, quite often is one where a pitcher has a little more difficulty finding that rhythm and control.
Here are the runners at the corners. 3-2 pitch, all goes, and the pitch is bounced to first baseman Wally Joyner. The run coming in, and let's see, out at the plate is Mattingly, and Ron Tingley blocked the whole plate perfectly. On a fielder's choice, Joyner to Tingley. Mattingly is out. Paul was running on the pitch, is on at second, and Kevin Moss is safe at first base.
Mattingly a little disgusted with himself on this play. Most of the time the coach would have a contact. If there's contact on the ground, you take off. Joyner takes his eye off the ball momentarily, but in looking at Mattingly, sees that Don did not take off immediately. And even with bobbling the ball, he has a chance to get the runner at home.
A big out for the California Angels. Here is Hensley Mullins, who singled his first time up. He swings at the first pitch and pops it up. Gaetti makes the catch to retire the side, so it took Finley pitches out of it with a big play at home plate. And it is still 1-1, and we'll return to Anaheim Stadium after this word from your local station. All right, Pat, thank you very much. And the Mets now looking to get a victory if they can out of this. Bobby Rose leading off in the 3rd inning. Rookie second baseman walked his first time up. Bobby Rose, and we tell you we're going to get close-ups. Those are the braces of Bobby Rose. You can't get any closer than that.
A little extra bubble gum in that cheek along with it.
Appeared as a pinch runner. It was his first appearance as being called up from the AAA club at Edmonton July the 7th, right before the All-Star break.
Angels made that trade with Toronto, and they thought Luis Sojo would be their regular second baseman. Hasn't worked out quite as well as expected, plus he's been injured a little.
Hit to the right side, Pat Kelly. Rose is out, there's one away, and of course Donnie Hill was another infielder they thought might be platooning with Sojo, and Sojo did well enough to win the job on his own, but obviously second base is one of the weak spots.
A bit of a question mark. Critical innings right here for Taylor and Finley to kind of turn the rhythm of this game around. They have been on the defensive the early couple innings, deep counts. And if either one of them are going to be around and win the game, they've got to change that.
Here's Wally Joyner, struck out against Wade Taylor his first time up. Lines this into center field for a base hit. Second base hit of the game for the Angels. So Joyner, who got his 100th hit last night,
gets a first pitch fastball out over the plate. And the best pure hitter in the Angel lineup.
And an opportunity here for Dave Winfield, who grounded out to shortstop his first time up. Remember, he was out all of the '89 season with back surgery. Just coming back last year was a win for him.
That's what's so remarkable. He talks about this year as if he said, you look at my statistics, this is just a normal year for me. It's not.
Breaking pitch is in for a strike. The word on Steve Sax, he has a contusion of the left elbow and has been taken to the hospital for a precautionary x-ray. Sax was hit by a pitch in the second inning, had to come out of the game, and the Yankees made some infield changes. Sax had been swinging a good bat the last month. 0-1 pitch to Winfield. Big cut and a miss. Foul tipped actually into the glove of Notes, and it's 0-2.
First two pitches, Taylor pitches him just as you would go over Winfield in the meeting before the game. Started him off with a curveball, and you better run that fastball up and in on him. You see Notes' target on the inside corner, and Winfield very prone to chase breaking pitches out of the strike zone after that.
Another breaking ball outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So the count is 1-2. Here's when Sax got hit by the pitch in the second inning.
Yeah, instead of ducking away, actually, Steve, in starting his swing, put his hand out right almost between the batter's box or his arm out and home plate, and that's why he caught that above the elbow.
Chop foul.
Going back to Winfield's great comeback. I mean, to think that this is normal for a guy to miss an entire season at his age and come back and be productive. He's the first to ever do it with that kind of production on a 100 RBI pace.
Well, he's got peace of mind. Obviously, we all know the story. Problems he had with George Steinbrenner. Shipped out west, and it's worked out for Dave. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 out, and he gets fooled on a breaking pitch. Off-speed breaking ball, and that will be the 3rd strikeout of the game for Wade Taylor, and there are 2 gone.
And this is why he is prone to the breaking pitches when the pitcher gets ahead. Look at the big hitch in this swing. Watch the bat go up and down in his hands, and that causes a lot more head movement, lunging out in front of the plate, and as a result, he doesn't make as much contact. Now, the hammer, Henry Aaron, had a bit of a hitch, kept the head steady. It's a tribute to Winfield that he has compiled the kind of numbers he has, being a great athlete, because mechanically he's not really a sound hitter.
So here's Dave Parker, who drew a walk his first time up. 2 outs, runner at first base, and it's hit to the opposite field through the hole. And Parker with a base hit. Stopping at second base is Wally Joyner.
Parker taking the ball the other way as Taylor continues to try to pitch him away, and it sets up that Angels situation again. Gaetti has had a lot of run-scoring opportunities in the last few weeks, but has not been able to deliver. Hasn't had an RBI, I think, about 3 weeks.
And he tapped back to the mound in his first trip. So Wally Joyner, the runner at second base, in a 1-1 game on at second. Dave Parker at first. Gaetti hasn't had a run batted in since the end of June. Fouls off a breaking ball, out of play to the right. The Angels, who, as we said, coming in, had 1 run in their last 41 innings. They have scored 1 run in their first 2 2/3. Have hit 148 during that 7-game losing streak stretch. As Wade Taylor now, he threw 30 pitches in the first inning alone. Breaks away, 1-1.
Yeah, that's 60 pitches already in the 3rd inning. I mean, we're going to see the Yankees bullpen, which is a good one in this game, because you normally figure 12 to 13 pitches an inning is ideal for a pitcher. He's twice that.
Some of the pride of the Yankees has been their great bullpen. Ground ball sharply hit in left field for a base hit. Joyner rounds third. Here's Hewlin throw is cut off by Velarde. They have Parker trapped and he's out. And that'll be out number 3, but it'll be a run-scoring single for Gary Gaetti as Joyner scores and the Angels get a run. And after 3 innings, it's 2-1 in favor of California.
Well, a good sign for the Angels as they take the 2-1 lead, because Gary Gaetti's first RBI in July. Right here, Mullins charges, makes a strong throw, and then Parker trying to force the Yankees to cut the throw off as Joyner scores the run. And they do that and execute the rest of the play to tag him out for the 3rd out.
And the 35th run batted in of the season for Gary Gaetti. So after 3 innings, Angels 2 runs on 4 hits. The Yankees 1 run on 4 hits. And Bernie Williams switch hitting center field and leading off. He took a called 3rd strike his first time up. First pitch from Chuck Finley. Fastball outside, ball 1. Talked to Harmon Killebrew last inning. And we've got truly another brilliant performer in his day as Williams takes a strike, and it's great to welcome in our booth. Dick, don't call me Richie Allen, because people used to call me Richie. Good to see you. Former teammates with the Chicago White Sox, and it's great to see you, one of the great talents of the game, Dick.
Always a thrill for me, because to visit with Harmon, who was a great home run hitter, and then when people say who was the greatest baseball player all around ability, you just saw Parker run into that throw to make the 3rd out at 3rd base. This guy played all phases of the game, ran the bases, could steal.
Well, everyone thought that Dick Allen was strictly a home run or a power hitter. I remember in your rookie year with the Phillies when he played 3rd base, it was a TV game of the week. He laid down a great run. It might have been against Milwaukee. I'm not sure.
I'm not either.
But you had great speed. You could do things with the bat, and a tremendous, exciting player as well.
That's what I liked about the game at the time. And of course, these fellas right here, they had tremendous talent. We actually played and executed the game itself.
Bring us up to date. What have you been doing?
Well, I was a jockey agent in New York, and I was doing well, but my heart and mind really stayed into the game, into the baseball.
This was a guy that loved the game, and you talk about executing, and I have a feeling that a guy that used to manage out here, Gene Mauch, had a little influence on how you learned to play this game.
Yeah, we come from a good baseball school, and really did, as you did too, Jim, and honored really to be here with you fellas today. I called Gene Mauch and the Phillies over there, my alma mater, but I'll let Dick go ahead.
That's all right. Williams rounds out to 3rd baseman Gaetti, and there's 1 away in the 4th inning.
Example of the improvement the Angels have made in the field, the best in the league, and Gary Gaetti, the Gold Glove winner, sucks that one up.
What did Gene Mauch mean to you? What kind of influence? Give us a couple of specifics, Dick.
Very little. We really liked the game itself, you see, because he had a uniform on, but we were the ones that had to go out there and play. And it's a thing when Jimmy Cott pitched or Bob Gibson, they not only pitched, they helped you play too, and they kept the defense on their toes, and it just made it all around really a game to play. It is a team effort.
That's what sometimes I think is a misconception when people reflect on your career, is that getting to, once you got to the ballpark, nobody loved this game or play it more than you did.
A lot of times when you're being accused of being late, you recall yourself, I'd be in the ball.
You were never late when the first pitch came on the way and the wind was blowing in Comiskey, and we'd say, nobody will hit one out of here today, but you proved us wrong a few times.
1 ball, 1 strike to Kelly. It's a foul fly out of play. Who would you pay to see today of the players in the big league?
Dave Winfield right here. I really would. He's one, and I really like the shortstop over there with Detroit, Alan Trammell.
Yeah.
Sound fundamentals.
You're going to move back to near the farm in Wampum, Pennsylvania?
Well, that's all Mother's still there. I'd like to say we love her so much. She's 84, 85, and I like to get home and thank her. She's a fan, by the way.
You mentioned Dave Winfield, who just got a diving catch for the out. And a great catch by Dave Winfield on a fine run, and he was playing off that line, and Pat Kelly is retired.
Well, Dick said he'd pay to see this guy play. You get in for free, and you can still see a great catch like that. This shows you the athletic ability of Dave Winfield.
It was ruled a fair ball, and he made the catch. That's the defensive play of the game, Dick.
Yeah, not only that, a strikeout at bat before and do it on both ends.
Yeah.
Don't do it with that, and make up with it for it with the glove.
When did you start? Why'd you use a 40-ounce bat? Is that what everybody talks about?
In the minor leagues, balance is what we're after. You know, with pitching, you know, with hitting timing, and pitching with rhythm, and so I kind of got a little better timing with the
40 ounce?
Yeah.
And he could plenty with it.
Well, it's fine. It's fine. I didn't do too well against you, but it's fine.
1 ball and 1 strike to Carlos Rodriguez with 2 away. The pitch is inside, and I know you guys had a lot of fun when Chuck Tanner managing the Chicago White Sox. Those are great days, too.
Geez, do I remember. We were one player short. Dick, maybe you should have took that off.
Oh, you're right.
Over and helped us. Jim would have won.
Thanks for being with us. It's great to see you, Dick Allen.
Always a pleasure.
Always pleasure.
Ground ball hit to the right side. Bobby Rose makes the play. The side is retired. After 3.5, it's 2-1. Angels take a 2-1 lead as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning.
And yesterday, it doesn't happen often, Bob Milwaukee combined with 3 other pitchers, Mark Williamson and Mike Flanagan and Greg Olson. They no-hit the Oakland A's. And Cecil Fielder, he could be the first since Babe Ruth, the only other one to do it, to have back-to-back home run, 50 home run seasons. Wouldn't that be incredible?
Bottom of the 4th inning, Max Venable leading off, takes a strike from Wade Taylor.
Yankees have broken the no-hitter, the Mets rather, but they're trying to add to that streak.
0-2 the count to Venable. He led off the 2nd inning with a double to right field, ground rule double, and was stranded at 3rd base. Broken bat pop up to the right side. Don Mattingly looks up into the sun, makes the catch for the 1st out. And right now for an update, let's check in with Pat O'Brien in New York. Pat?
All right, Dick, down in Fulton County Stadium in Atlanta, it's over. Tom Glavine strikes out Gerald Perry, and with the win, now leads the majors with 13 W's. 2-1 Braves. Back to Dick.
All right, Pat, that's what Chuck Finley wants to do today, win his 13th game, and he's leading 2-1. Right here, Ron Tingley takes a breaking ball for a ball, 1-0. Taylor working fast. Foul ball fouled off.
It's like he got some kind of a lecture in the Yankee dugout. I mean, he's getting after it this inning much more so than he did the first 3.
1-1 to Tingley. Tingley's big contribution so far in this game was a great block on home plate on a fielder's choice to get Mattingly in the 3rd inning. Now Taylor falls behind 3-1 to Tingley. Tingley is a rookie in a sense, not age-wise. He's been in professional baseball for 15 years, but it's really been mostly in the minor leagues, not sticking in the majors for long.
Some time with Cleveland and the San Diego Padres. Another walk by Taylor.
4th walk issued by Taylor. Red Sox trying to turn around. A tailspin. And Dick Schofield, the batter, he grounded to shortstop his first time up. Two to 1 Angels. They have lost 7 in a row. Their longest losing streak of the year. It's been over 2 years since they've lost as many as 7 straight games.
Here again is that neglected area on the major league level. Look how deep Mel Hall is playing with Dick Schofield in the batter's box. No chance to catch a short looping fly ball to right, of which Schofield does a lot.
And I'd have to say that even Hensley Mullins in left field is playing too deep.
That is, they had the eye in the sky for a while, the coaches that would sit up here where we are and direct them around, but that is an area that is so neglected, especially in the opposite field. I'm talking 10 to 12 steps deeper than they really need to play.
Breaking ball, and it's 1-0 now to Schofield. Yankees scored in the top of the 1st inning. RBI single by Mel Hall. The Angels tied it up without the benefit of a base hit. balk brought home Luis Polonia, and then Gary Gaetti's single in the 3rd inning, giving the Angels a 2-1 lead. Got a runner on here with 1 out in the 4th. Tingley on at first as Taylor stepped off. 25-year-old right-hander in his 8th appearance and 8th start. Taylor was acquired by the Yankees at the end of the '87 season, along with Lee Guterman, who's been a terrific bullpen performer for the Yankees, in a deal that sent Henry Prado and Steve Trout to the Seattle Mariners. Big acquisition for the Yankees may prove to be bigger. Runner goes. There's the pitch out. Noakes has thrown to second a bit high, but they've got the runner. So Tingley is erased for out number 2, as covering was Carlos Rodriguez.
Either a good guess or good sign stealing. Tingley looks in, the pitch out, and Noakes has plenty of time, even with the high throw. Taylor gives it to him in a perfect spot. And the tag by Tingley made by Carlos Rodriguez.
And not a bad move here with Schofield, the number 9 hitter, taking ball 3, 3-0. If he's retired, then the Angels have the top of the order coming up in the 5th inning. Schofield draws a walk. That's the 5th walk of the game issued by Wade Taylor. At the conclusion of today's game, Jim and I will select the Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the game. Chevrolet will donate $1,000 in the player's behalf to the Special Olympics. Well, we'll see the top of the order here. Luis Polonia, who has walked, stole 2 bases in the 1st inning, and bounced out 0 for 1.
Yeah, the point you made about leading off with Polonia also increases the percentage that Schofield would try to steal second base in this situation.
Rodriguez and Kelly getting their single straight on noodle cover. Bluffing the bunt is Polonia as he takes ball 1. Schofield has been successful on 6 of 8 stolen base attempts. Randy Velarde playing just on the edge of the infield grass. Diving back safely.
He was going. He took a little bit of a lean. You know, people might say, why? Why does he number 9 hitter in the lineup as you see Schofield make that rough step? Because it's a high percentage play. You either get a runner to scoring position or you get your leadoff hitter leading off the next inning.
Pat Kelly likely will be the man covering, even though with the left-handed hitter Polonia is at the plate, because Rodriguez is playing deep into the hole at shortstop.
Yeah, Polonia just slaps the ball the other way more often than not, and they go at it with a lot of fastballs.
Two balls and no strikes. Bobby Rose, the rookie second baseman, is on deck. And it's 3-0. Again, Polonia bluffing a bunt, and the third baseman Randy Velarde has to respect that, so he has to play in at third.
And just bluffing right there and taking at the same time to force Taylor to throw a strike.
So Polonia, who makes good contact, 3 balls and no strikes, walks, and that's the third base on balls given up by Taylor. Here in the 4th inning, he walked 3 batters in the 1st inning when the Angels scored without a hit. 6 walks in all for the rookie.
Today's game shows you how numbers can be deceptive. Taylor has 4 wins, but Kamenecki and Johnson, Jeff Johnson, who pitched a marvelous game last night, and Scott Kamenecki, the right-hander, don't have as many wins, but they have been much more consistent. Today is an example of Taylor's inconsistency. Trouble finding the strike zone and challenging hitters. Mark Connor out again.
The Yankees have activity in the bullpen. Eric Plunk back there, right-hander, loosening up. Jim mentioned the Yankees had outstanding relief. They've had a group of about 6 men who have helped them. Habian has been great in long relief. They have Plunk and a whole variety of pitchers that they can go to when you get to the late inning.
Yeah, they get a starter through 5. They've got Habian and Steve Farr and Steve Howe, the left-hander, with a great comeback and has done a nice job down there along with Greg Cadaret. But Cadaret will now start. He'll start for them tomorrow.
Well, Stump Merrill is trying to get 2 of his ailing pitchers back, Pascual Perez and Mike Witt. Perez closer than Witt, neither of them that close though generally. There's a drive hit deep to left field. Muellen's going back, looking up, and it's off the fence. Schofield scores to throw to the plate, and Polonia is in as well. Bobby Rose with a 2-out double, and the Angels now lead it 4-1.
Well, they were waiting for Gaetti and Parker. Bobby Rose says, I'll step up and deliver. You cannot get by with 5 and 6 walks early in the game too often, and the Angels proved that. Big 2-out hit by Rose on the high fastball and a nifty slide by Polonia, just touching home plate with his hand on the way by.
So Bobby Rose, who had been up only 27 times since coming up July the 7th, drives in 2 runs, and here was the play at the plate.
Just grabbed the outside corner of the dish with his left-handed Polonia, and that prevented Noakes from being able to block off the plate and make the tag.
So it's a 4-1 ball game. Rose with his 2nd and 3rd runs batted in. And a rough outing here for Wade Taylor. Yankees have gotten good performances from Scott Kamenicki and Jeff Johnson. Taylor having a different experience. Wally Joyner takes ball 1. Watch the hand on the plate.
See, a runner watches the catcher to see what side of the plate and kind of follow his eyes or his hands to see which way he's going to reach for the ball. And as soon as Polonia saw that, he knew he could slide to the foul side of home plate and just kind of dust the plate with his hand on the way by.
He's added a lot of excitement and speed to the Angels lineup, has Polonia, the former Yankee. Count to Joyner is 1-1. He's 1 for 2 with a single and has scored a run. Curveball in the dirt. 2-1 now to Wally Joyner. There's Bobby Rose, the second baseman. The Angels looking to shore up that position. He's walked, grounded out, and driven in 2 runs with a double. And that's low. 3-1.
Well, for the casual fan, he might wonder, what's a runner doing carrying a glove out there? A lot of players do that now. They put it in that fist so they can clench the fist, and when they slide into base, you don't jam the wrist down. That's one, and I know from personal experience from doing it, that is a frequent injury of ball players. When you jam the wrist down on the ground and suffer a jammed wrist or broken bone. But when you put, years ago, handfuls of dirt, but now that batting glove, it makes you clench your fist and throw the hands up in the air when you slide.
Wade Taylor's pitch count is up to 80. And we're only in the 4th inning. 3 balls and a strike to Joyner. And he walks. 4 walks, and that may be all for Taylor, as he is struggling big time here in the 4th inning. You got the right-handed hitting Winfield coming up next, but 4 walks and a double. And here comes Stump Merrill out of the dugout, and that will be all for Wade Taylor. 7 walks in the game for this inning. And the Yankees are going to make a pitching change. 2 runs in, and the Angels still going to work with 2 out, and will return to Anaheim Stadium in a moment. Wade Taylor leaves the game after pitching 3 2/3 innings, has allowed 4 runs and is responsible for the base runners. And Eric Plunk is the new pitcher for the Yankees. A week ago Saturday against the Orioles was his last outing.
It's Bobby Rose after back-to-back walks, and managers will tell you it's not the long ball that beat you, it's the base-on balls, and that's what enabled Bobby Rose to knock in 2 runs with that double right there. Spread the gap a little, give the Angels a 4-1 lead.
And Polonia coming across with that second run. So Eric Plunk is making his 25th appearance of the year, all in relief, and an earned run average pretty high at 5.36.
Hard to believe that a few years ago the Oakland A's felt that Eric Plunk would be their closer and not Dennis Eckersley.
Hard to believe.
Yes. A live fastball and a good fork ball, but again, like Taylor, a little problem finding the strike zone.
He'll be facing Dave Winfield with 2 outs. Rose is at second base. Wally Joyner the runner at first. Winfield has bounced out and struck out. Big cut into this strike one. Asking Winfield yesterday, who's impressed you most? He says, well, since the All-Star break, the Yankees have. And he laughed because it's the only team he's seen. Winfield has not had much success against the 6'5" right-hander. Lays off the slider. It's 1-1. Rose is at second, Joyner at first. It's the first time in the last 60 innings that the California Angels have scored more than 1 run in the same inning.
Got a week's worth there.
Shows you the kind of drought that they've experienced, yet coming in today only 5 games out, very much in the big fight in the American League West. 2-1 to Winfield.
Well, that's what's exciting for teams that are in the American League West. It is so competitive that the Angels have lost 7 in a row, and yet they're right there. A couple of wins they're knocking on the door of first place again.
You said the Mets have won 10 in a row and they couldn't get into first place. 2 balls and 1 strike. 2-2 now to Winfield. Talking about some of those contenders, you know, the Twins have been very impressive, but Tony La Russa says that he fears the Texas Rangers most of all because he says they've got the best lineup in all of baseball.
Yeah, the legitimate lineup, but they don't have the pitching, the other teams, and Tony knows his Oakland A's have gotten publicity for those Bash brothers recently, but it's the pitching and defense that's won them championships. Rangers don't have that.
Hit left field. Rose coming on in. The throw comes in. It's not cut off. Run scores. It's 5-1 as Winfield gets his 59th RBI of the year. Joyner holds it second. Big inning for California.
A mistake fastball up in the strike zone, and Dave Winfield will capitalize on those pitches more times than not. Hensley Mullins plays the ball properly, but no chance to cut the runner off at home.
Wade Taylor charged with the run. Has to feel a little bad, even though the young players and pitchers have done so well, because you're riding the crest. They've already won the series, taken the first 3, but you like to keep it going and perhaps get that sweep.
Yeah, you don't want to be the guy to break that streak.
Dave Parker, and off the top of the mitt of Noakes. Goes to the backstop, and the runners will advance.
Well, this has the makings of one of those turn-the-page games for Stump Merrill. They've been playing so well and getting good pitching, but Eric Plunk, true to his form, live arm, can't find the strike zone. Matt Noakes has to practically jump to try to get a glove on that ball. And Stump takes it in, relaxed fashion.
They call that a pass ball. Wow. Which, you know, normally if the catcher gets a glove on it, it's a pass ball. But under those circumstances, the way the ball took off, you know, Noakes was lucky to get a glove on it.
It's not an area that you anticipate the ball coming in. You're not quite as ready for that one.
I wonder if they won't change that. We'll see. In any event, runners are at second and third with 2 out. Parker, big cut and misses. 1-1. You be the judge.
See Noakes looking for it down, and then up. He's got to get a little hang time. Parker looks back at it. This inning, a good example. Parker and Winfield have swung and missed on 4 of Plunk's pitches. When he gets it in the strike zone, he can be tough to hit.
Joyner's at third. Winfield at second. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Parker. Breaks inside. Parker 1 for 1 officially. He's been on base twice today. Angels with 3 runs here in the 4th inning, leading 5-1. They've out-hit the Yankees 6-4. In the crowd, having a good time and a beautiful afternoon in Anaheim, trying to hope their Angels break a 7-game skid. 3-1 to Parker. They're the runners in scoring position with 2 down. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Foul back, and the count is full. You mentioned Dennis Eckersley. By the way, Brian Harvey unavailable because of personal reasons. He's been the closer for the Angels.
Wow, he's been effective, and along with those 2, Rick Aguilera has now taken over the major league lead in saves. His 24th last night. Dibble and Smith having good years.
Eric Plunk trying to get by Dave Parker here with 2 on and 2 out, and walks Parker. That's the 5th walk given up by Yankee pitchers here in the 4th inning. And the bases are loaded.
This is what it does to an outfielder. You can see all of the Yankee outfielders and players just like Mel Hall. I mean, this is not fun when you have to stand out there and watch your pitchers do that. There's Bernie Williams in center. And Hensley Mullins just taking it all in. Play inter-squad games and put pitchers out there sometime, and they'll find out how nice it is to have guys that throw it over the plate.
Here's Gary Gaetti, who's the 9th batter to come up here in the 4th inning for the Angels. Fouls the first pitch off. It was Gaetti who gave the Angels their lead in the last inning with a single. Parker got caught trying to go to third base. Joyner is at third base. Dave Winfield on at second, and Parker at first. A lot of years on the base paths. Especially at second and first. Here's the 0-1 delivery. Gaetti went around for strike 2, 0-2.
Got great stuff, great movement. Look at the action on this pitch. That's the fork ball down and away from Gaetti. He can't hold up in time. Again, another swing and a miss. Once Plunk gets it close to the strike zone.
Plunk taking his time, trying to work Gaetti, who knocked in 85 runs last year and has 35 so far this season. Bases are loaded and 2 out. Throw it in the dirt. Last time the Yankees made a West Coast trip, they won 2 of 8 games. In fact, it was after a game here in Anaheim when Don Mattingly said, you know, I kind of wish we had George Steinbrenner back. And that was a kind of a flagship kind of a day. The Yankees were 7-16 at the time. And he swings and misses strike 3. The Angels leave the bases loaded but get 3 runs and have opened up a 5-1 lead. Dave Winfield, and how have the Angels changed this year compared to the last year when he was with California? Here are his thoughts.
Well, I think we've loosened up in the clubhouse. You know, it was a pretty quiet group before, introverted. I think we've opened up quite a bit there, and I think we'll do even more once everybody starts contributing. It's tough to be too loose if you're not really executing like you want to do it. So we've got some time in the second half to do that.
He is the leader of the club, as Mattingly is with the Yankees. The Yankees sent 9, or the Angels sent 9 men to the plate in the 4th inning, leading 5-1. See how the Yankees respond in the top of the 5th against Chuck Finley. Randy Velarde takes the strike from Chuck Finley. So Tom Glavine won his 13th game of the year for the Braves today, and Finley staked to a 4-run lead, looking for his 13th of the year. Ground ball in. Gaetti playing in at third, makes the play, and there's 1 away. And right now, let's check in with our colleague Pat O'Brien in New York. Pat?
All right, Dick, thank you. Out at Shea, the Mets' 10-game winning streak is over. Craig Lefferts gets Kevin McReynolds to fly out to right. San Diego wins it 2-1. Greg Harris had a big game. He goes 8 to third innings. His no-hitter broken up in the 8th. 1 hit, 1 run. Back to Dick.
All right, Pat, thank you. So New York baseball has been sky high lately, but the Yankees losing here and the Mets see their 10-game losing streak go by the boards. This game, way to go. They're only in the 5th inning. And Don Mattingly taking ball 1. Mattingly has been aboard twice, has singled and walked. In the air to center field. Max Venable moves over to his right. And there's 1 away. 2 away. 2 down here in the 5th inning. Well, with the Mets losing, the Pittsburgh Pirates leading Cincinnati 10-4. So the Mets, who won 10 in a row and were unable to overtake the Pirates, who came within 2.5 games, may find themselves 3.5 games behind the Pittsburgh Pirates as Mel Hall takes ball 1. Hall with a pair of singles, driven in the only Yankee run back in the 1st inning. Hits this fair down the right field line. And he'll get extra bases for sure. Winfield chases it. The ball dies out there, and Mel Hall is 3 for 3. He continues his torrid hitting against all kinds of pitching with 2 singles and now a double.
Amazing when a guy gets an opportunity to play against left-hand pitching as a left-hand hitter, what he can do. That's a breaking pitch that Finley leaves on the inside part of the plate. He wanted it on the outside half. Nice little maneuver there by first base umpire Tim Welke to jump out of the way. A big day for Mel Hall.
Last year he was criticizing teammates. He was ripping up and things in the clubhouse, throwing things, and he's much calmer and playing better. Here's Matt Noakes, and he lines one foul down the right field line.
Boy, these left-hand hitters are having more aggressive rips against Chuck Finley than I've seen in the past couple of seasons.
You brought out a good point. Despite his 12-4 record, you know, people say he's got to be the best left-hander in the league. Well, maybe last year you could say it, but he's only had a handful of really good performances this season.
But a lot of W's in the past 3 years, 12 of them this year.
Yankees with a runner in scoring position and 2 out. Native of Monroe, Louisiana, with a long look in at the sign. And here's the 0-1. Swing and a miss on a fastball up. 0-2.
Last inning we talked about the pitchers have to take over this game if they're going to stick around. Taylor could not do that. Wildness, but Finley is the kind of guy, even though he has scuffled a little early on, that'll say, okay boys, you've had your chance, and he'll just shut this game down if he gets back in the strike zone a little more consistently.
On the outside corner, the fastball, and strikeout number 5 for Chuck Finley. No runs, a hit, 1 left. It's 5-1 Angels. Bottom of the 5th inning, the Angels leading 5-1. Max Venable leading off as California batted around in the 4th inning, scoring 3 runs on only 2 hits. First pitch from Eric Plunk is ball 1. Venable with a double and 2 trips. Right back to the box, deflected, and Venable will be safe with an infield hit. Hit hard, and it was slow just enough so that no Yankee could get to the ball.
Plunk just got his glove down. As you see with most big pitchers that have long, deliberate windups, their reflex is also a little bit slower, and Plunk can't quite get the glove down on that one. Looked like it was hit a little off the end of the bat, not quite as hard as he anticipated, but Polonia's speed, no chance to get him.
Here's the catcher, Ron Tingley, who has struck out and walked. Squares around the bunt, takes a fastball up high, 1-0. Tingley checking with Bobby Knopp, the third base coach. Schofield on deck. Tingley began his pro career at Walla Walla back in 1977. So he's been around in professional baseball for quite a long time. Go to first base and Venable gets back.
Polonia's speed, Max Venable's speed. It's been a useful player, Max Venable, a very good center fielder, not in the mold of a Devon White, who the Angels had last year, but very effective.
Swinging away, Tingley, and the count is 1-1 strike. He was looking to sacrifice on the first pitch. Took the sign off. Angels finished 2 games under 500 last year. They're 4 games over right now, trailing the Twins by 5. But in 5th place, what a difference a year makes when a team like the Oakland A's don't run away and hide as they've had most of the last 3 years.
And the trade that they made with the Toronto Blue Jays has been, you know, a little bit in the Blue Jays' favor so far with Devon White.
1-2 strikes now to Ron Tingley.
And one of the guys that's missing that the Angels hope to get back in the future, Junior Felix. He was a player they thought could provide some speed and also a little bit of power for them as a switch hitter. Bobby Knopp flashing the sun. But he's been missing time with a strained calf muscle and will be out for at least a few more weeks.
Venable has his lead with nobody out. The count 1-2 strikes. And the ball in the dirt. There goes Venable, and Noakes won't throw. And he's in there with a stolen base.
Now once it hops away from Noakes, again the catcher's job there, it's impossible to try to pick and catch that ball. You try to block it, keep it in front of you, but Venable with the good reactions sees it hops away from Noakes and gets into second base easily.
It is a wild pitch. Ball in the dirt, getting away. We have had our share of wild pitches and balks and pass balls, questionable pass ball, we might say. Ground ball hit to the second baseman, Pat Kelly. There you see some of the great glove that the Yankees know he is going to add to this club for years to come.
Looked very comfortable handling that hop. I mean, that ball was hit sharply, and Tingley, though he failed in the previous at-bat of advancing the runner back in the second inning when he struck out, but the same situation. This time he does the job, taking the fastball from Eric Plunk, and very smoothly Pat Kelly makes that play.
And going to third is Max Venable, so the Yankees draw their infield in with 1 out. And Schofield, the batter, he has grounded out and walked and scored a run. Looking to make contact here to drive in another run for the Angels. There's a pitch for a strike. You look at Pat Kelly in the play he made. Well, he's never played third base. He was a shortstop. Stump Merrill said he really has solidified the infield by playing third base as well as he had. Started the day at third, moved to second. Steve Sachs suffered contusions of his left elbow. There's Schofield trying to make contact, and he fouls it off, strike 2.
And again, the numbers can be deceptive. Steve Sachs has only 1 error. He's played very well, but he does not have the range that Pat Kelly can provide for them. A lot of balls that Sachs does not get to. This young man will.
Two strikes the count to Dick Schofield. Max Venable with the lead at third. Infield is in, and the pitch above the head of Schofield. 1-2. Let's take a look now at Pat Kelly and how easy he made that sharply hit ground ball by Ron Tingley.
He right there. It plays the ball to the side of him, but he trusts his hands, and he has such sure hands that he can do that and still make the play.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. In the air, down the left field line, and it hooks foul. Got a rise out of the crowd. Schofield, of course, no home runs this year. Never known for the long ball, obviously. Gave the crowd a rise there.
Let me correct that number on Steve Sachs. He's having a good year error-wise in the field, just 4, not 1. And that's the Schofield knew he hit it well enough if it stays fair. And just hook foul.
Plunk checks Venable. Here's the 1-2 pitch and a check swing. Blooper base hit over the shortstop Carlos Rodriguez. Venable will score, and the Angels have up their lead now to 6-1. Schofield with his 18th run driven in on the year.
The little things by making contact that can help you produce a run. You remember back in the second inning, Tingley struck out. Schofield hit a little bouncer up the middle. It was an out. Now Tingley advances the runner, and this ball that would have been an easy play for Rodriguez with the infield at normal depth becomes an RBI and a single.
And the wild pitch figures very much in this inning to allow Venable to get to scoring position in the first place. Here is Polonia. Throw over to first base. So a 6-1 game. The only inning the Angels have not scored in was the second inning. One 1-0 the count to Luis Polonia, who has walked twice and bounced out. He has 2 stolen bases and has scored a run on a nifty slide. Got his hand on the plate. On a base hit by Dave Winfield. Up high. 2-0.
I don't know if Carmichael is still there because now
we mentioned how long it has been since the Angels scored more than 1 run in an inning, but how about since they last scored more than 1 run in a game? Well, a week ago Saturday, July 6th. In for the strike. 2 balls and 1 strike to Polonia.
And this is a team that at the start of the year, when Doug Rader analyzed his lineup, thought it would be the most productive lineup the Angels had had since back in the late 70s when they had Grich and Baylor and Reggie and Rod Carew.
The dirt again, and it's now 3-1. Well, last year the Angels, who were supposed to do what they're doing now, and that is be in the race, struggled. Mark Langston, who they paid dearly for, really had an off season, and basically was a club of designated hitters for the most part.
And now they've made enough changes so their fielding has improved with Gaetti at third, Soho at second.
There goes the runner. The pitch is taken for ball 4, and Polonia walks for the 3rd time in this game. And right now, let's check in again with Pat O'Brien. Pat.
All right, Dick, out at the Dome in Minneapolis. 5-3 Boston. No out in the 5th. Jack Clark singles home Luis Rivera. Almost a home run. Boston goes up 4-1 there. They win the game 5-3. Dick, hope you're having a nice time out at the A. Back to you.
Pat, we've got a gorgeous day out here. It's probably nice in Minnesota, too, but you would never know because they're inside. Bobby Rose, the batter. He struck a big blow in this game. The rookie second baseman with a double to left field, knocking in 2 runs in the 4th inning. At the time, the Angels were up 2-1. And it started them on their way to a 3-run inning, batting around. Runners are at first and second and 1 out to Rose. Takes a pitch for a strike, 1-1. Yankee pitchers have had a rough time. Poor control today. 9 different Angels, or 9 Angels, have drawn walks. Foul out of play. 1-2.
Blue Jays have opened up that league in the American lead in the American League East, 9 out of 10, and the Yankees up to today's game, and that's how they've jumped up to 3rd place, and the Mets closing in on the Pirates with that streak. Cubs a little improvement. They should play better than they have been.
Well, the comptroller and financial advisor of the club would tell you that with all the money they spent. Here's the 1-2 delivery, curveball, and it misses 2-2 to Bobby Rose. Schofield is at second base. Poloni is at first. Swing and a miss on the slider, and Rose goes down. That is the first strikeout by Eric Plunk, and there are 2 down.
Again, when Eric Plunk gets it in the strike zone, they don't hit it very often. And he is, for young pitchers, a guy to look at and say, what is the most important thing to pitching? It starts with throwing the ball in the strike zone. 28 years old, Eric Plunk, and he has been a prospect for several years of the, the level that people said, boy, this guy could be our closer, as Oakland did. He should be one of the better pitchers in this league.
Wally Joyner with 2 out and 2 on. Ball 1 outside. Joyner with a single and a walk has scored a run. 1 for 2 officially today. Came in hitting .317, 8th in the league. He's now hitting .319 and has hit Eric Plunk to a fairly well. 8 for 12, including 3 home runs. Fooled on the off-speed breaking ball. 1-1. Split finger, an effective pitch in the arsenal of Eric Plunk. 9th inning, the Pirates are leading the Reds 10-5. Reds have stumbled a bit since the All-Star break. They're going to get another chance next week against the Pirates. Pitch is inside. 2-1. And some of you will see the Reds and the Pirates when they meet at Three Rivers Stadium next Saturday at 1 o'clock. Others will see the Dodgers and the Mets. Mets had their 10-game winning streak snap, but they're right on the heels of the Pirates, and the Dodgers have been the leaders for quite a while in the West. Joyner lifts it out to left field. That'll drop for a base hit. Schofield will score. Polonia goes to third, and it's now a 7-1 ball game. And the Angels are breaking out of their hitting slump and their losing streak in impressive fashion. Not all solidly hit, but they're dropping.
Well, when you have a team that has the potential to score runs like the Angels do, and you've come off 3 straight wins, and you start the game by walking people and consistently falling behind hitters, that's what opens the door and gives these guys a chance to begin to produce as they are.
Runners are at first and third with 2 away, and Dave Winfield with an opportunity here. He drove in a run last inning with a single. His 59th run of the year in a quiet Yankee dugout watching proceedings. Seven to 1. The Angels have busted out of it. All 1 outside. Winfield stands an excellent chance to become the oldest player ever to drive in 100 runs in a season. He's got 59 right now, and a chance to get number 60 if he can get a base hit.
There's the others. Hall of Fame company, Cobb, Banks, and Ruth.
But the Angels get 2 more and lead at 7-1, and will return to Anaheim Stadium after this word from your local station. Seven to 1 the score.
A variety of novelties available here at Anaheim Stadium.
And Chuck Finley has given up 1 run on 5 hits. Struck out 5. 1 run coming in the first inning. Hurt by a wild pitch. He has thrown 2 wild pitches overall. Mel Hall drove in the run with a base hit. And Finley will face Kevin Moss, Hensley Mullins, and Bernie Williams here in the 6th inning. Moss is 0 for 2. 1-0 the count. Pitch just misses outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Finley says one of the reasons he doesn't have any arm trouble is that he did a lot of manual labor at his father's nursery down in Monroe, Louisiana, planting trees and tilling the soil and working a lot with plants and gardening and so forth?
That's a good point, because Ron Guidry, who threw so hard for his size, said, you know, he had those big upper back muscles, and he used to talk about the lifting and the work he did as a kid that I think helps you helps prevent some of those arm injuries that those that don't do that kind of work have.
2-2 the count, and he throws very hard indeed, and he's throwing hard even as a little leaguer. His dad said that the umpire had to keep the catcher between his knees so he wouldn't get knocked down way back in the Little League.
Use him for a buffer, huh?
Here's the 2-2 pitch from Finley, and it's fouled back. Chuck Finley 12-4. Mark Langston also 12-4. Had a no decision on Friday. Finley looking to become the first American League pitcher to win 13 games, and that pitch is just low.
Dan Morrison behind him. That pitch a good example. He has been very, very consistent. That's one of the reasons you have a game of this pace and this many walks.
Here's the 3-2 pitch. Ground ball. The second baseman Bobby Rose to his right, and there's one away. Well, we'll see what else is going on in the American League. Let's check in with Pat O'Brien. Pat?
All right, Dick, let's go out to Milwaukee, Chicago at Milwaukee. Birthday boy Robin Ventura Freeway hits a home run. Back. That makes it 13-1. The Brewers had one hit, a leadoff home run by Paul Molitor. That's all they got. Jack McDowell with a one-hitter. A lot of high-scoring games today, Dick. 15-1, Chicago. Back to you.
All right, Pat. One out to Hensley Mullins.
Ventura starting to become the power hitter that the White Sox thought he would become when he came out of Oklahoma State. He's shortened that swing up a little bit, made it a little more compact.
Mullins has a hit today and 2 trips, takes a strike, 1-1. Pat O'Brien reminded me of someone there in
well,
that last
I thought
update.
For a minute there, I was wonder what that call was.
Here's the 1-1. Popped up right side. Joyner shields his eyes and makes the catch 2 down.
Yeah, we talked about when Steve Sachs went out of the ball game by getting hit on the arm. Pat Kelly had to move over to second base, and third base has been a kind of a troublesome area for the Yankees. And if you asked a lot of the New York fans who's had the most third basemen in the past 30 years, has it been the Yankees or the Mets, they'd get into a nice debate. But you know who it's been? The team you're looking at. The Angels have used 94 different third basemen, and Gaetti now is giving him a little stability there at third base for the first time in a long time.
Here's Bernie Williams, who's 0 for 2. And you have to go back to the expansion year, the first year, 1961, and the walking man was the first man to play third.
In fact, when Harmon was in the booth, that's another old Washington Senator, Eddie Yost, the walking man that started. And boy, they've had some names over there. Rocky Bridges.
Rich Rollins.
Even current Texas manager Bobby Valentine, before he had the career-shortening injury right here in this ballpark, was one of their third basemen. And Sandy Alomar Sr.
Here's the 1-strike pitch to Williams outside. Bernie Williams is not just a fill-in for Roberto Kelly, waiting for him to come back from DL. He's impressive, although right now the Yankees feel that he needs to be a little more aggressive. He maybe has like an Ellis Burks kind of temperament, wants him to be a little tougher. He's got a lot of speed. He hasn't learned how to use it yet, and gets a pretty good jump on the ball. And a switch hitter, and Buck Showalter has helped him become an effective switch hitter.
You have to reach that level where you have the base runner's arrogance, like a Ricky Henderson. That's what base stealers strive for.
Out of play, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You have to play a while and get comfortable in the major leagues, get the feeling that you belong. You don't see young players often come right up to this level, the major league level, and start to play like they're taking over the league. They can feel their way through.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Bernie Williams. He had 8 home runs in the minor leagues, all of them coming as a left-handed batter. Good eye there, takes the pitch low, 3-2.
Same could be true for that man, Chuck Finley. He has now achieved that status. He's got that starting pitcher, that close out the game arrogance that he didn't have when he first came up. Finley had a good live arm, but well, it cost him some refreshments all over his clothes, but it's worth it. Nothing like snaring one of those foul balls.
You ask anyone, would you rather get a souvenir or mind getting doused? The answer is on his face.
Souvenir. You could give him a new one and he wouldn't appreciate it as much as grabbing that one.
3 balls and 2 strikes, bases empty, 2 outs, and a line shot deep to center field. Max Venable goes back and it's off his glove. Almost made a brilliant backhanded catch. And moving into second with a double is Bernie Williams. Max Venable almost made a sensational catch deep in center field on a scorcher.
And Max will probably say, I should have caught that ball, despite it would have been a great play. But once he gets his glove on it, he times it perfectly. And actually the ball hit up off the heel of his glove. Just almost closed the glove a little too quickly, but it gives you an idea of the speed and the ability to get a jump on the ball that he has.
But you're right, he got to the ball, and when you get to it, you've got to make that catch. As tough as it looked, and it was. So here's Pat Kelly. He takes ball 1. Kelly is 0 for 2. He was robbed. As you look at Bernie Williams, the runner at second. Kelly robbed of a base hit by Dave Winfield with a sliding catch along the right field line. Lifted out to right center field, and Winfield will be there to make the catch. No runs, a hit, 1 left. And after 5.5 at Anaheim Stadium, Chuck Finley and the Angels lead the Yankees 7-1. Angels coming up in the bottom of the 6th inning, and we'll see our 3rd Yankee pitcher of the day, Lee Guterman. 2-1 record and an earned run average of 1.77. This is his 32nd appearance. Hasn't worked as much as he'd like, but Steve Howe's presence has affected him.
It's affected him and Greg Cadaret. Now Cadaret will start tomorrow, but the Yankees could make a deal if they wanted to move Guterman or Cadaret and maybe pick up a third baseman or a position player, because these guys are not getting as much work.
Dave Parker leading off. He's been on base 3 times today with a single and a couple of walks.
He got on pissed. Hey, you got a crowd.
Big cut and a miss. 1-1. Well, a couple of veterans on this team, Parker and Winfield, and well, what do they have in common?
That's why the Angels thought they would have such a powerful lineup this year. Those 2 teammates, each with 1,500 RBIs. Simmons, Perez, and Yastrzemski did it. And Parker about 32 away right now.
Breaking ball up high. 2 balls and a strike to Parker. It's Parker, Gaetti, and Venable. Foul back. We told you earlier that Brian Harvey, who has 22 saves and has been the outstanding closer for the Angels, was unavailable because of personal reasons, but just a few moments ago he was lobbing the ball in the California bullpen.
He has been he is really the top rated, even more so than Rob Dibble, short reliever in the American League, in the major leagues.
Popped up to the left side of the infield, Carlos Rodriguez. You can see it's a high sky and the sun gets into the eyes, and he had to shade his eyes. So there's 1 away in the 6th. Right now, here's Pat O'Brien. Pat.
All right, Dick, out of Riverfront, the Pirates' Mike LaValliere doubles home Bonds and Bonilla off Randy Myers. A 5-run 6 broke open a close game. They finished 10-6, Pittsburgh. They sweep the Reds in Cincy and then now lead the Mets by 3.5. Back to Dick.
All right, Pat. So, you know, the Pirates just don't get themselves into big losing streaks, and we'll see them next week against the Cincinnati Reds in a return series at Three River Stadium.
Yeah, that's going to have a little fireworks in it to go into Cincinnati and sweep them 3 games. Lou Piniella just cannot find the pitching that he had last year from those Cincinnati Reds.
Swing and a miss by Gaetti, who has a run-scoring single today. 2 strikes. Of course, injuries have really dismembered that Cincinnati pitching staff, and Piniella knew he's going to have to play catch up to win this year. No wire-to-wire season.
But he thought by this time the pitchers would be in a groove that they would begin to roll and gain on the Los Angeles Dodgers, but it's gone the other way. Browning now has had some tough starts. Rio is disabled. Scudder, Armstrong has not been as effective.
1-2 pitch grounded up the middle, and Gary Gaetti has his second hit of the ball game. And hit number 10 for the California Angels. What about the Atlanta Braves? Now there's a club that started to slip a little bit, and it seemed that it was going to be Dodgers and Reds in the West as you look at the replay of the base hit up the middle. But the Braves have come back strong since the break.
Again, it goes back to that that commodity that all teams have to have. That's how the Yankees have made improvement. Good pitching, and the Braves have come up with those fine young left-hand starters. Glavine winning his 13th today. Steve Avery is having a good year.
Max Venable chops one. Mattingly to Rodriguez. The return in time. A 3-6-3 double play. Retires the Angels, and after 6 innings, it's still 7-1 California. 7-1 the score, and you want to see the magic of the glove of Don Mattingly. Why he's won a handful of Gold Gloves right here.
Well, you jump off the bag and get a good jump on the ground ball, which he does, and then throws it to the inside where Gonzalez can handle it, and Gonzalez with a quick flip back to the double play.
Carlos Rodriguez, Mattingly, 5-time Gold Glove winner. Big thing for Don, he's healthy. Off the glove of Finley, and he's going to be safe at first base. So Rodriguez, who is 0 for 1 in his one plate appearance since taking over for Steve Sachs. Rodriguez went to short, and Kelly moved to second base.
It's about as soft a single as you can get. It's another one of those where you think it's hit a little harder than it really is. And Finley reached for it, the ball wasn't quite there. And with that 7-1 lead, Doug Rader will get Floyd Bannister up in the bullpen. The Yankees with that predominantly left-hand hitting lineup.
Randy Velarde swinging at the first pitch into center field, and Max Venable makes the catch. What about swinging at first pitches when you're down 7-1 and you have a runner at first base in the late innings?
It's kind of another one of those philosophies that have changed over the years. It's kind of like stealing bases when you're a few runs ahead or a lot of runs behind. And the same thing is true. You figure with a guy like Finley, he now has his control. If you don't hit that first pitch, if it's a fastball, that might be the best one you'll see. You may never get another one.
Don Mattingly, who is 1 for 2. He's also walked, takes a breaking ball outside.
You contrast that, Dick, to years ago that you referred to as the managers would say, take a strike, don't swing till he, and then they would force you to do that. They don't do it quite as much anymore.
Rodriguez on at first, and a fly ball skies to left field. Polonia makes the catch, and Mattingly is retired. Mattingly had raised his average from 253 early in May to 327. Right around the 300 mark, and he's retired for the second time today.
And you see him shake his head, Don Mattingly, and you can chart Don Mattingly's at bat. A little disgusted in the dugout. When he hits the ball in the air to left field softly like he did versus lining it, that gives you an indication whether he's swinging well, whether his timing is there.
Well, Mel Hall is swinging well, and his timing's been there at least today. He's 3 for 3 with 2 singles and a double, an RBI as well. 1-0 the count to him. 2 down, a runner at first base. 7-1 the score. The Angels lead in this game. Finley has thrown 114 pitches so far,
which is probably why Floyd Bannister is up and would come in the 8th inning.
He's got a big cushion here in the 7th inning. On the corner for a strike.
See, Don Mattingly carried his hands very high early in the year. Now they're back down. The reason he carried them high was to hit down and stay on top of the ball and prevent getting underneath it like he did in that at bat.
Just missing. 3-1 now to Hall. Angels with 3 in the 4th and 2 in the 5th inning, breaking open this close game. Yankees had a run in the 1st. It's been the only run they've gotten against Finley, and a line drive to center field, and Mel Hall is 4 for 4 this afternoon with 3 singles and a double. Moving to second is Rodriguez. Quite a day for Mel Hall.
Watch this swing. Watch Mel Hall swing down on that ball. See, he didn't lift it. Just the opposite in what Mattingly is trying to accomplish by getting on top of the ball. That's what happens when you do. Instead of a lazy fly ball to left center, it's a line drive single.
And Matt Noakes now. Hitless in 3 trips. Runners at first and second. There's a strike. Yankees trying to climb back here with 2 down in the top of the 7th inning, trailing 7-1. Rodriguez is at second. Hall, the runner, at first base. Ground ball back to Finley, and he'll retire. Noakes for the 3rd out. No runs, a couple of hits, and the Yankees leave 2 more. They've left 10 men on base this afternoon and trails 7-1. Angels with a big 7-1 lead over the Yankees going the bottom of the 7th inning. Want to remind you that this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Major League Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of Major League Baseball. Lee Guterman facing Ron Tingley, in the first pitch, ball 1 to Tingley, who is hitless in 3 trips to the plate. Line drive foul. Guterman, 6'8". Plunk, who preceded him, 6'5", and of course Finley of the Angels 6'6".
Yeah, you don't find pitchers under 6 feet anymore. There's like Mike Boddicker, Scott Bankhead. Used to have Whitey Ford years ago. I can remember Red Schoendienst when he first saw Steve Carlton. He said tall boy. He called him tall boy before he really knew his name. Lefty at about 6'5". And Randy Johnson at 6'10".
Yeah.
Left-hander for Seattle.
Out to left field. That may drop. Right field, that is, and Tingley is safe with a base hit, his first hit of the day, and hit number 11. So a single to right by Ron Tingley, and the leadoff man aboard in a 7-1 game.
Again, right-hand hitters that are not power hitters in the opposite field, outfielders can play. Look how far Mel Hall has to come, and then he has to retreat. Should be about 8 to 10 steps closer to the infield, and he makes that catch.
Or Ewell, the Whip Blackwell. He was tall, and he came at you in that sidearm stuff way back in the 40s. And
nasty on right-hand hitters.
Dick Schofield, a hit in 2 official trips, has walked. He has scored 2 of the Angel runs today. Takes his strike. Well, for Schofield, a trick for him in recent years is to stay healthy, and it's been a very tough trick, but this year so far it has been. Chopper to third, Randy Velarde to second, throw to first, not in time. Good base running by Tingley to take Kelly out of it.
Little too high of a bounce to turn 2. Kelly does his best to jump over the sliding Tingley, but can't quite get enough on the throw to double up Schofield. You mentioned Schofield's health. I mean, whatever he hits is a bonus for the Angels. They just want him, as you said, healthy for what he could do out there in the field. This team's so much better this year than they were last year when they're in the field.
So Schofield's aboard, and here's Luis Polonia, who has walked 3 times today and tries to go to the opposite field and fouls it off for strike 1. Polonia 0 for 1 officially, has stolen 2 bases and has scored a run. Yankees jumped off to a 1-0 lead, but it didn't last long. Angels tied it in the first without a hit. Scored a run in the 3rd, 3 in the 4th, 2 in the 5th. And they've got a big cushion. Guterman, and that pitch foul down the left field line as Polonia using all of the field. Join us tonight on CBS for 60 Minutes, followed by Murder, She Wrote, and the CBS Sunday movie Children of the Bride, a rebroadcast of a motion picture for TV starring Rue McClanahan, Patrick Duffy, Jack Coleman, and Christy McNichol. A woman is looking forward to her marriage to a considerably younger man with a mix of joy and apprehension, since she must first survive the homecoming of her 4 combative adult children. That's all tonight on CBS.
Full night.
Full description of that show.
And this guy's starting to develop into a full-time player. Polonia, you know, when they made the trade last year, there was still some question about his ability, but Doug Rader, very impressed with the way he plays in terms of his intensity and ready to play every day.
2-strike pitches outside, 1-2.
If you go back to last August, Polonia became a regular out there in left field. You go back to last August up till now, he has been the leading hitter in the American League at .326, a little ahead of Mike Greenwell.
And he's, I think, a .300 lifetime hitter in his brief career. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Angels finally getting a leadoff hitter. It's been one of the problems. You talk about 94 third baseman since they've been in existence,
and probably 95 leadoff men.
Probably. 2-2 pitch, big cut and a foul tip. Stays alive. California Angels came in 5 games behind front-running Minnesota, and they have a chance to gain a full game and knock it back to 4 with a win. And Poloni again trying to go down the left field line, and he's come awfully close.
Now this at bat gives you an idea why teams swing him around the other way. I mean, Mullins is still probably deeper than he could be in left field, but they do swing him toward that line because that's Polonia's stroke.
Led the league in batting average against right-handers last year at .341. Talk about how well he's done against left-handers this season. And here's another foul. Well, he makes good contact. He gets a piece of it.
He's like Brett Butler. Brett Butler is that ideal leadoff man for the Dodgers because he's a pest. As a pitcher, you make good pitches, and they just keep nicking it. And all of a sudden, you've thrown them 9 pitches, and then you throw a cookie in there about bell time, and they get a double. Wasted effort.
A cookie.
A fat one.
Poloni is waiting for that cookie.
Yeah.
Well, it's a great Sunday, beautiful day in Southern California. The fans, many of them shirtless, trying to get a nice tan, enjoying the day. The Angels with a 7-1 lead, ending a 7-game losing streak as they hold on. Polonia hits it to center field. Bernie Williams goes back and makes the catch. Going back to first base is Tingley. He was playing a shallow center field, but anyone with good speed, that's the way to play, to go back and make it.
Now, if there's ever an example of how you can play shallow and still catch the ball. See, Polonia doesn't have the power of a Winfield or a Parker. He hits this ball well, but with Williams' speed, he has to run a long ways back toward the center field wall. He can play shallow and still get back and make that catch.
What are the chances of him hitting over his head versus a chance of hitting a line drive that'll drop in front of him? It's a percentage. Here's Bobby Rose, been one of the heroes for the Angels at the plate. Swings at a breaking ball and fouls it out of play. 2-run double in the 4th inning as the Angels batted around, opened this game up. Rose brought up from AAA on July the 7th. Maybe he'll be the answer to their second base problems. Off-speed pitch in there for a strike, 0-2. Lee Guterman, third Yankee pitcher. Wade Taylor worked 3 2/3 innings, gave up 5 runs, and Eric Plunk allowed 2 runs in an inning and a third. Ground ball, fair. And down the left field line as Velarde couldn't handle it. Tingley on his way to third, and in at second with a double is Rose. So a pair of doubles today for rookie Bobby Rose.
taking advantage of his opportunity. It's a pitch on the inside part of the plate that he can pull. Velarde with a nice effort, but not quite the quickness of a third baseman like Gary Gaetti. And that ball gets by him down the left field line. Another extra base hit for Rose.
Of course, not that it is significant with a 7-1 lead, but when Sachs went out with the contusion of the elbow, Pat Kelly had been the third baseman. He might have had a better chance of getting to that ball.
Those little plays like that, because they end up being hits, they show up when you see a team that plays so well in the field and makes those plays, how important it is.
Wally Joyner with 2 hits today, 2 for 4, 2 for 3 officially, is also walked. To the breaking ball up high. Runners are at second and third with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Rose at second, Tingley at third, or Schofield at third. And the count 1-1 to Wally Joyner. Joyner hit 34 home runs back in 1987. Drove in 117 runs. In 86 and 87 for the Angels, drove over 100 runs. Now hitting more for average. Right to him, 1-2. From here, the Yankees move on to Seattle, and then the big series against the Oakland A's. Ground ball to the right side, and Pat Kelly eats it up. And the side is retired. The Angels leave 2, and we go to the 8th inning. California leading 7-1.
This game summary is sponsored by Budweiser.
Angels 9 walks. The Yankees have not gotten the runners in from scoring position. Steve Sachs hit by a pitch in the 2nd inning, out of the game with a contusion of the left elbow. 7-1 the score, and the Yankees, Kevin Moss, Hensley Mullins, and Bernie Williams here. Ground ball foul down the right field line.
Well, the walks that were really damaging back in the 4th inning when Taylor walked Schofield and Polonia back to back, then that gave Bobby Rose a chance to cash it in and hit this double off the left field bullpen screen, and that stretched that lead out to 4-1.
Off-speed pitch fouled off by Moss, who's 0 for 3.
Yeah, like you say, give me a chance to play second base and get in that lineup on an everyday basis. I'll produce some runs. He is today.
Missing outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Finley keeps looking in. Well, it's been 8 innings now. I guess it's not going to change. That pitch is going to be a ball.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Moss. Yankees scored in the 1st inning. Blank since then. Bounding ball to Joyner. He makes the play. Moss is retired and is 1 away in the 8th inning. 18 runs for Kansas City.
Nick Lowry must have been in that one. A couple field goals.
Right. 15 for Chicago. What's going on here?
Sunday afternoon's run scoring day. Well, the weather's better. The ball carries.
Bringing up to date on the scores. And 17 by the San Francisco Giants. Angels have a stirring in their bullpen. Hensley Mullins looks at a curveball for strike 1.
A tribute again to Chuck Finley. He has thrown about 120 pitches, but he loves to finish what he starts if possible. And he's staying out there.
Off the end of the bat to center field, and Max Venable comes in and makes the catch for out number 2. Right now, let's check in New York to Pat O'Brien. Pat, what do you have for us?
All right, Dick, let's take a look at one of those high-scoring games. KC at Detroit. Brian McRae, a 2-run homer for the Royals in the 2nd inning. He also hit a grand slam later in the game to contribute to a team record 6 home runs. Most runs scored at Tiger Stadium since '76, 18-4, Kansas City. And Dick, what do you think Papa McRae is saying right now?
He's beaming.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's why team stats are the most overrated thing. Team batting average, look at games like today. See, you pad it up with those 17, 18 runs a game.
And team ERA.
Yeah, you want managers to say, give me a consistent 4 and hold the opposition to 3 every day. I don't need 12 today and 2 tomorrow. And that's why those numbers are deceptive.
Bernie Williams 1 for 3, doubled his last time up, takes outside 2-0. Take a game like this here, the California Angels, who had 1 run in their last 41 innings, come in here and they're crashing the fences to the tune of a 7-1 lead. Well, they could have used some of those runs elsewhere.
You know what's surprising coming into today's game? The Yankees and the Angels have both played the same number of what I'd call low-scoring games.
In the air, deep to left center field, going back is Venable, looking up, and it's gone, a home run. That's the first major league home run for Bernie Williams. And I will chance to say there'll be many more.
Yeah. Boy, when Roberto Kelly gets healthy for them, Stump Merrill will have some interesting decisions to make with that glut of outfielders that he has that could swing the bat. Well, a comfortable lead, and Finley said, here's a fastball, hit it if you can, and Williams does to get his first one in the big show.
And this is one hit to right field, right at Winfield for the out, but Bernie Williams will remember his first major league home run hit off a pretty good pitcher, Chuck Finley. 7-2.